the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience. Week 4, spread picks, preview, survivor picks. We're going to get into everything, maybe even a little mini CUST corner halfway between the afternoon and late games. Let's find out. But hey, Geoff Fienberg is in studio with him. What's going on, my man?
Doing good.
Hot week for you.
Yeah, I needed it. ATS off the mat.
So ATS off the mat.
Yeah.
You win a 50-1 golf bet. Danny Willett follows you on Twitter, yet the Chargers lose.
They can't seem to win anytime I hit a golf bet. And it always seems to be Chargers over everything. Nothing seems to make me whole. And I want a little more money this time than last week on Das Wonder Kid. And yeah, nothing makes me whole. Nothing else can make me whole if they can't win the game. Although last year, week 3, they got their ass worked by the Rams and was the day Tiger won the Tour Championship.
And you hit that.
Which were on a 14. That was nice, but still, I can't. If I hit a golf bet, it's almost like if you see that I hit a golf bet, guaranteed smash whoever the Chargers.
Yeah, well, that should be the move. When you post your betting line for the betting card for the week for golf, everyone should just parlay it with the Chargers, again, whoever's against the Chargers money line.
That's
like this week, they're huge favorites. Probably don't take any of your golf bets.
Oh, this might actually be the first game in, I don't know, maybe since I was 13 years old, where I'm probably not even going to bet the Charger game.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like laying these kinds of points.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
And it's nothing you could really work into. Like, I don't want to make like a teaser that condones these types of points either.
All right, well, here's what I'm going to do. I got 3 ways you can get into a draw for 20 DK bucks. Number 1, smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section. And there's 2 giveaways here. You can either time code the show with parts you think are funny for our best of at the end of the year. That is very helpful. A lot of people did it last week. So if we can just do that every week, we'll have a super show for over the Christmas holidays. The other way to do it is tell me your favorite spread along with your DraftKings handle in the video comment section. If you rate, review, subscribe, and download the Pat Mayo Experience Audio podcast, rate it 5 stars, leave your DraftKings handle and something nice about the show. You too will be in the draw for 20 DK bucks. The other way, follow me on Instagram at @ThePME. You see a football or golf photo go up, give it a quick heart, leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section, and boom, you'll be in that draw for 20 DK bucks. I'll announce the winners on Monday's live show, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the DraftKings YouTube channel. I'll also be live 9:30 a.m. on the DraftKings YouTube channel as well on Sunday mornings, getting you ready for the games with Gary and Thorne and Tim Undercust.
Tim Undercust.
That is not my name.
Do you like that I didn't even introduce the coin right away? The coin is in the doghouse. The coin has terrible picks this year.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you don't watch the games. You don't get a feel for them.
Would you like to wager against the coin the rest of the year? You have a 5-game lead on the coin.
Do it.
No, I don't actually want to wager against the coin because I think it's due because it's all mathematics, it's all probability. It is going to hit a decent week at some point. And
I mean, if I got off the mat, the coin can get off.
You think the well, the coin has a track record of being really good at this, so we'll see. We're only 3 weeks in.
Possible.
We're 3 weeks into the season. Tim already declared his season over after week 1. No way you could possibly catch up. Feinberg had 2 terrible weeks in a row. He's 1 game back of me for the lead. No one is over 500 amongst the 4 of us.
That's how it should be.
I was 6-10. We're right on where the normal trajectory of this show. I was 6-10 last week, 24-24 for the year. Geoff was 12-4. He's up to 23-25. Tim was 7-9. He's 22. And I wrote down 66, but I think that's 26 for the season. And the coin was 5-11. 17-31 for the year, bringing up the basement. I lost my super lock. Tim lost his super lock. And Tim mocked your super lock, Geoff, and it won.
I was hoping that wasn't going to come up because I wanted to bring it up after Tim was taking his victory lap for hitting his...
Yeah, Tim hit his free money teaser. You know what I found interesting about his free money teaser is that he had a team at plus 4.5 as a super lock, yet they weren't on the teaser. That seems really strange.
No, I got burned the first 2 weeks by teasing teams up, so I made a conscious effort last week to only tease teams down. And it hit.
Well, not only that, he made I could have taken offense to how egregious he mocked me making a pick last week. No one has ever so overtly mocked one of our super locks in as long as we've done this podcast.
Do you
That
want-
is not true.
Well,
I get mocked every other week for my super
No one
lock.
has ever.
Yeah,
You make a super lock. It's a NFL point spread. No one has ever done what you
When I
did.
picked the Raiders 2 weeks ago, Pat Mayo was snickering at me as I said it.
Yeah, because I was right.
So point is, I
Oh, no, what?
frequently-
Let's
Hasn't happened to you.
let's rewind the tape here and just hear what Tim had to say.
Don't screw me, Pittsburgh.
That's such a bad pick. Oh, God. They're going to crush them by 3 touchdowns. I just like the Niners a lot. I like the Skins better.
If the Niners hadn't just kept giving the ball away, they would have won that game by 3 touchdowns. That was ridiculous that they even won that game, considering.
But
how
what
they
was my logic? The good culture of Pittsburgh. The other units would step up with the quarterback injured, and the other units force those turnovers.
Okay, I was wrong. You were right. I don't know what more I can say.
I was
Other than-
really hoping I was gonna get a go at him after he was taking his victory lap for hitting like a plus 275 4-game.
It was plus
teaser.
400, so you're making money with me on the teasers this year so far.
So far,
That is,
he has improved.
You gotta
I
give
believe
it-
I have it written down. He's now 6-49 lifetime on his teasers.
hey, he got it. He had to sweat the last game, and I think he left off Chicago or Washington just because it was probably Monday.
no,
Like, if
I
that
just
game
didn't
was
wanna tease-
Sunday, you wouldn't have put it on the teaser.
I don't know, because I had a theme where I wanted to try to tease teams down last week, not up. So I don't think I would have put them on irrespective.
Because the Chiefs have blown up your teasers, you feel you should no longer teaser points up, which is probably the smarter
No, not
things to do.
necessarily.
because-
Not necessarily.
Like 75% of these things are all 1-score games in the end.
Yeah,
May not be a
Yeah.
fact.
Oh,
75%.
yeah. No, yes, that is not a fact. But what would you say? Like, if you had to guess, percentage of NFL games
60%.
decided by 8, I guess 8 points counts as a
Yeah,
score?
55%, 60%.
More than that. More than that.
I mean, I don't have the numbers. I'm just spitballing here.
Someone will have it.
How'd you guys do in Super 7? I was 4-3. So, like, if that's going to be a bad week when I have a terrible picks
I was
week.
4-3, but we hit our bonus with the Rams.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think I was 5-2 with the bonus. I have to admit, and I'd let you guys know, after the morning slate of games, I was 8-1
Yeah.
on the NFL Pick Show, what we did last week, ATS. And the only game I bet on Sunday morning were the Broncos getting like 8 points. And they didn't stop fumbling. So that just showed like, you know nothing, or I know nothing, even though I went 12-4. Although
Do you think the Niners were cursed after Tim snickered at your pick and that's why they kept fumbling in the red zone? I think they were.
I mean, they were the last end of my teaser, too. So I had to watch a lot of that game.
Well,
There's a lot of shenanigans going on there.
You talked about the Broncos and the Green Bay game. So let's get into the Thursday night affair. Philly at Green Bay. Alshon Jeffrey is going to play. Dallas Goedert appears like he's going to play too, but it looks like their entire secondary is banged up and Deshaun Jackson is out. It's a pretty banged up Philly squad right now, and they might be dropping to 1-3 here. The Packers are favored by 5 points. Game total is 45. Two things on the Packers. One, their defense is really good. They're like a top 5 defense in football. Conversely, the only reason they scored points last week was Aaron Rodgers drew the free play and bombed it to Marquez Valdez-Scantling for a long touchdown. Now, Aaron Rodgers does that more than anyone else, so it's hard to bank on that. And the Broncos kept fumbling in the red zone, and the Packers scored on those plays. When given the length of the field to go, the Packers did nothing that entire game.
The Broncos fumbled in the red zone trying to score, and they fumbled back into their own end. So they were just losing points everywhere. I'm going to take Philly here. Give me the 5 points. I don't really love it. I don't know if I'll bet it, but I think that they'll be healthier for this game, and I'm going to roll with it.
So I have found out that every time I get the Thursday game correct, I have an above 500 week. Every time that I do not get the Thursday game correct, I just have a horrible picks week. So really need to hammer this one down. I have a lean here right now, but I want to hear what Tim has to say in case I have to fade the curse. What are you doing?
I'm taking the Packers. I don't like picking against teams in Lambeau to begin with, and I certainly don't on a short week. Philadelphia has looked god awful now for 3 straight weeks. They really should be 0-3. The Redskins let them wriggle off the hook in week 1 when they were beating them up pretty good. They let Atlanta, with no right to win that game, win, and then they laid an egg against the Lions, which seems to be a theme this year. So I don't know. I got no confidence in this Eagles team as it stands right now. And on a super short week, going to one of the 3 or 4 stadiums where I think home field is a genuine thing, give me Green Bay and I'll lay the points.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tim here. I like the -5. I like Green Bay. I don't know if it's a bet on game for me. It's definitely my pick for the show. I just think they can be exploited deep so often. And like Alshon is going to be back, but how healthy is Alshon really going to be? Then you have to put all your stock in Nelson Aguilar, who, yeah, he scored 2 touchdowns. He also had a horrible drop, a fumble, and he had 8 catches for 50 yards. So against this defense, maybe they won't get lulled to sleep. Like Detroit, not only, obviously they won the game and they covered, they really should have won by more, but they do really stupid things all the time that I don't know if Green Bay is going to do that. Like you mentioned, Tim, like Philly has looked horrible this year. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, the next time they look good will be the first time they look good.
They look good for a half against the Redskins, which isn't super impressive.
No.
All right, so Green Bay for me, CUST, and the coin. Jeff, you're the only one on Philadelphia.
I think I was the only one on Jacksonville last week.
No, the coin had Jacksonville as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Philly, geez, you could argue the Super Bowl hangover is going on a year and a half. And now with Wentz, I don't know. Something just doesn't seem right there. There's a lot of embarrassing situations on game film from that game versus Detroit last week, but desperation might have to breed brilliance with the way how real the Cowboys are.
They can lose this one as long as they beat the Cowboys. If that's the game where they end up showing up, then,
Is that next week? It's
either next week.
To look ahead.
It's either the next week or the week after. Yeah. It's coming up soon. Tim, do you have that in front of you?
I will effort that right now.
All right. So Sunday slate, Carolina at Jeff's new favorite nemesis, Houston. Not quite sure how the Chargers lost that game, but Houston is a 4-point favorite against Carolina at home. 46.5 is the over-under. What? Okay, can you explain this to me? Because I know you watch every snap of this. I'm watching the game, and Deshaun Watson throws like a dirt ball behind the line of scrimmage, and I couldn't figure out what happened. It ended up being a fumble, but like I
don't know.
Did the ball slip out of his hand? I don't get what he was trying to do.
I don't really know.
No, I think he just had a brain fart.
It was really
so was in his face, and he panicked.
Really weird.
Like spiked it into the ground behind him. I don't know. Houston came out of the locker room, made some great plays. Games are decided by 1 or 2. Ingram couldn't bring Watson down, and he made an incredible Watson play that he's capable of making that we feared. And as I think I said on the show, they will go after our like B corners, and we really did a great job on Hopkins. And by B, I mean like we're on to D because B and C are hurt.
Did the Chargers not realize that the Texans have tight ends?
We got guys playing their first freaking games that I haven't heard of, like at safety and corner now.
So it's not great.
It's just rookies making rookie mistakes.
I did see the guy that stole Derwin James's watch is going to jail for 9 years.
I didn't even see that. Good for that.
Yeah, so don't pick on the Chargers here.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough game. Cornell likes to he put a lot of interesting things that made it hard for Minshew in that game. I think he can do a lot of the same to Kyle Allen.
I think
I'm going to take Houston. I just think they're the better team. People might be. I think it's an inflated or. If Carolina loses last week, maybe with Kyle Allen, the spread is probably exponentially larger. But people seem to have these love affairs like they did out of Minshew's first game. I still don't think I know what Kyle Allen is. A lot of people think they do. I'll take Houston to give them a hell of a time.
I like Houston -4 as well. You're right. If Carolina doesn't win that game last week and Kyle Allen doesn't,
and they deserve to win. I'm not trying to take that away from them.
They also played the awful Arizona defense. Like, yes, Houston has given up a ton of passing yards so far this year. It's happened in almost every single game, but they're not going to – Kyle Allen didn't see the pressure that Houston is going to bring this week from last week in Arizona. So when you start throwing J.J. Watt into his face or whoever ends up coming up for them, then all of a sudden it's a completely different story.
Did they get that over sacks thing? I know Houston had about 4 or 5. The Chargers probably had a couple.
It was 6.
I know you were talking about
6 total sacks, yeah.
Yeah, they'll bring the sacks. I don't know. They played at 4 o'clock. Obviously, I was hyper focused on the Charger game, so I didn't get to see a ton of it.
He was good. He looked good in the game.
I don't know how quickly he gets rid of the ball. There probably would have been 3 or 4 more sacks if Rivers doesn't get rid of the ball quicker. So Houston is doing what they do well. I don't know if Carolina can take advantage of Houston's shortcomings. I think Cornell is pretty good at for all his faults, he still can draw some real things up that'll confuse the kids. So Houston.
Well, it's twofold here. So Kyle Allen, in his third career start, now he's going to face a week 17 game and in a team that doesn't play defense.
It's probably his first. Oh no,
it's his first like real test game. Really, like a real meaningful game against a good defense that's going to attack you. That's one thing. So if they don't win last week, the spread is 7.5 with Kyle Allen. If he looks like average last week, not great. The other thing is Carolina's defense is now getting overrated because they dropped Kyler Murray 8 or 9 times in that game. But that offense is set up for Kyler Murray to take sacks. They run so many plays. All they want to do is throw. They have a terrible offensive line. Like the Carolina defense that we saw last week against Arizona. Yes, the Texans have a brutal offensive line, but again, it's Deshaun Watson who can kind of shake some of these guys off. It's not going to be Kyler Murray who just kind of runs around in circles a little bit and makes some mistakes. Watson will make his mistakes, but I just don't think that the defensive line of Carolina is going to have as big of an impact on this game as they did last week. So I like Houston minus the 4. Tim, what are you looking at?
A very tough game to figure out, I think. I think it's a very close coin flip. I mean, what I saw from the Panthers last week and really against the Buccaneers defensively on the Thursday night impressed me. If Newton hadn't been hurt, they would have won that game. And they were, they went toe to toe with the Rams. So I actually think the Panthers are maybe a little better than their record indicates. Allen played well. McCaffrey, I think, is after Watson the most explosive person. Well, I guess Hopkins. I don't know. Maybe McCaffrey is the second most explosive person on the field. I don't know. I just feel like this ought to be a 3-point line. That to me would be fair. So I'm getting the extra point with the Panthers. So I'll take them. I don't love it, but that's the way I'm going with this.
I think Houston might end up making my Super 7 this week. I do like them a lot in this game. The coin actually likes Carolina along with Tim. He's going down with the coin ship on this one. Cleveland and Baltimore. Baltimore.
I've been waiting to talk about this game.
Well, I did want to. Baltimore are 7-point favorites. 45.5 is the over/under. So Tim, you can lead on this one.
I'm wrong about so many things all the time. I like to tell people I'm wrong at least once an hour. I have not been as right about many things as I was about the overinflation of the team that plays on Lake Erie. I mean, my goodness, what are they doing out there? They're coaching people. People now are criticizing Freddie Kitchens.
Hold on. I do want to let you know before you continue. If the Browns win this game, they're currently winning the division.
Yeah, that's great. And that would be true if Buffalo beats New England. And do we think that's happening either? I mean, I have my doubts.
It could. I mean, they get 2 games they get 1 more game against the Jets. That's a free win. 2 against the Dolphins. Those are 2 free wins. They have a super easy schedule.
I know. Let's go back to the Browns for a second. And listen, like I said, a lot of people are criticizing Kitchens now. We're enamored with that hire and we're praising it to the high heavens. I said at the time I didn't like it. I wasn't sure that he was quite the leader.
I don't think anyone praised it.
No, there was. Amongst very many people, they thought that Kitchens hire was smart. I thought it was dumb. I still think it's dumb. Listen, the QB is good, but he's not that good. And when the moments are the highest, he falters. And we saw it again last week. I don't know. I mean, I just think this team is profoundly overrated. I think their talent level compared to Baltimore's isn't remarkably close. I think the Ravens are laying 7. I think they probably should be laying more than 7. This is the first end of a 5-team 6.5-point tease. We're going to tease the Ravens down to a half point. This Browns team is just not good. Like their schedule the next few weeks is a murderer's row. I mean, they have to play this week Baltimore. Next week, they have to play at the 49ers coming off a bye. That's a loss. Then they got to play against the Seahawks. That's probably a loss. Then they have to play, then they're on bye. Lucky them. I guess they can't lose for a change. Then they have to play at the Patriots. That's a loss. Like this team is going to be DOA and Kitchens could be out the door by November 1st. Like this team is not bad. It has talent, but it was very, very combustible. And as I said at the start of the year, if things went badly, it could tailspin very quickly. We're on the precipice of that. So, I mean, this is it. I mean, I think if the Browns lose this game, you can put a fork in them. They'll be 1-3. The Ravens would be 3-1, and I don't think there's enough room to catch them. So, interesting game. I will take the Ravens and lay the 7. And I'm just happy to say I'm wrong about a lot of things, but I was right about the Browns just being completely overrated, and Mayfield being a very insecure quarterback. And that was clear from his off-field shenanigans, that he was trying to cover up for the insecurities he had as a quarterback, I thought. And I'm being proven correct day by day.
You're really taking a victory lap after 3 weeks on this? You've been so bad at predicting things so far this season. This is what you're clinging on to?
Which was the first thing I started.
Well, let's run a poll here. Geoff, I'll ask you, what is the most Andercursed thing so far of this NFL season? Is it poor Josh Rosen, who Tim had rated as his number one quarterback in that draft class, who just, his entire career is Andercursed, very sneaky Andercursed. The Bucks, who he picked to win the NFC South, basically called them free money last week. He cursed them. I don't know why he had to call them free money. The New York Jets, who's Tim's favorite team, 0-3, quarterback gets mono like he's 15 years old, or your poor Chargers, who, what are they, fourth in the league in yards per play and can't win games?
Can't score points.
Yeah,
they're getting exposed with their injuries.
Geoff knows this. Their schedule is cake.
But it's been a death by 1,000 cuts. It's been painful. It hasn't sort of been the one crushing blow like by quarterback kiss.
I don't think Jameis is going to win MVP. I'm just throwing that out there.
I didn't pick it at the start of the year either.
Quote, I think Jameis might win MVP. Remember I said that. Tim Anderson.
Yeah, but in the end, I picked Rivers. Now I'm feeling worse about that pick because it's either going to be Mahomes or Jackson, and that's pretty clear.
Dak has been...
Dak has an outside shot at for sure. He's playing great.
Yeah,
he
man,
plays for the Cowboys.
So outside.
Yeah, Cowboys
well,
quarterback.
I think Mahomes would have to get hurt or play poorly in the stretch to be overtaken, but sure, Dak definitely has a shot at it.
Okay, so I'll go on this game. There's a lot of things that Tim says that I've long agreed with. I do think there's not a team in the league that pays more attention to the outside noise than this Cleveland Browns team.
I don't agree with that.
No,
I feel like you guys are just... What have you seen? Tell me what you've seen.
What quarterback goes back with TV hosts? Ever?
I like it.
I'm just saying. There's not a team in the league that is more social media conscious of the noise than the Cleveland Browns. I've said all offseason.
I'd say it's the Chargers. You say that Melvin Gordon checks every one of his replies.
As an individual, sure, but my quarterback doesn't even own an account, wouldn't even know how to get one.
Well, that hasn't helped him at all.
Well, it could be better than a quarterback who has 6 phones and smashes one anytime he's
my point.
It works out for that guy.
I'm not going to go full like Tim or Coward and say, well, Baker was doing media photo shoots for like GQ. Other quarterbacks were like honing their craft. I'm not going to go where Tim goes, but I will acknowledge it's a social media conscious team.
How about this? Their offensive line sucks.
No, but hear me out. Everybody
that was
there.
True when they traded away their best offensive lineman.
Everybody
agreed, but that is the serious problem.
Everybody there is panicking. When your head coach is already goes to the podium before he gets a question after a bad loss, and they're so aware of what is the noise outside. It's not a good thing, in my opinion. It's not a good thing. I could sum it all up by, as I said for many times, equally being, we were going to be excited if they were going to be 11-5 or 5-11 or 2-12. Like, they were going to entertain me however this thing went. And now that it's tipping one way, I'm going to cheer for whichever way it is tipping, because that's where the entertainment lies.
Sure, but like I said, they win this game. They're winning the division.
Yes, absolutely. And I haven't even made my pick yet. So don't totally throw me under the bus until I do so. But they are very conscious of the noise. And this is a team that had accomplished nothing, that had all these primetime games, that is the hunter instead is the hunted instead of the hunter. And I'll keep going back to that. That's not a good place to be in any sport.
But they are not there anymore. The world has now turned on the Browns.
Now here we are. Let me go with my game pick. A week ago, the spread is 4. The Browns have blown 2 eggs on national TV, and I'm getting an extra field goal for it. It will be a close game.
I mean, one well-timed pass on 4th down, the Browns win that game last week.
No, I'm just saying. I'm going to take Cleveland with the 7. That is too many. Now you're on a tipping point the other way, as you were sort of alluding to as I was making all those points, that now they're being completely turned on. And, guys like Minshew and all the other cool young quarterbacks are the its. I don't believe Baker's as good as he was a year ago. I don't believe as bad as people are making him out to be. What I will say is a fact, though, since he's taken over as a quarterback, Pat, no one has thrown more interceptions. That includes Jameis Winston. That includes Case Keenum. That's not a good look. So there's a ugly thing that's going on there. But 7 points in the division in what might be a desperate situation, because yes, the win makes everything right. But oh boy, they lose this one. The loss, the noise, the fan base. The coach goes to the podium. He's already concerned about the noise. He's not like woo. He's not like, he doesn't go to the podium and say, these are the things we're doing well. I'll fix the other things. It's, you guys think, you. Like, he's already talking to the noise. It's such a bad look. And they got no experience, and they got a lot of divas. Tilting. I don't want Tim to be a hero, but I'll cheer for 3-13 if it gets ugly. I will.
The dam can really break here, and I was dead wrong. I thought when Tim says like people were saying Freddie Kitchens was good, that was me. And that's basically the only person who was like kind of on that train. But Tim, when I say it, he thinks the world is saying it, so that's how he tries to phrase everything. But dead wrong on this. And I don't even think he's listening to the noise. I think he knows how badly he fucked up. So he walks in being like, oh God, I know what they're going to ask me about. Do you think he legitimately didn't know it was 4th down on that draw?
Yeah,
I got no clue.
Baker
Baker or the coach?
The coach. I think he thought it was 3rd down.
I agree. There's no other justification for it. I'm willing to believe he just didn't know what down it was.
Because that makes no sense. Like, if you can't, and Aaron Donald was a one-man wrecking crew in that game. I'm taking Cleveland as well, because besides the fact that they now seem very reversed and cursed here, Tim's digging their grave after 3 weeks here. So they have good curse momentum on their side. But there's the one thing they do. They should have Denzel Ward back for next week. Their defense should end up being healthier in the secondary. But still, they get to the quarterback and they stop the run. We saw it last week. Kansas City was getting in the backfield against Lamar Jackson. What did he do? He played 500 up with the ball, and they came down with it twice. Like, that's not happening over and over. Those were 2 pretty fluky plays. But if you can shut them down on the run and keep Lamar Jackson from getting outside of the tackles, just keep him in the pocket, and they have enough speed, and they don't need to blitz on that defensive line that I think they can do that. I think they can win. I wouldn't pick them to win, but I'm going to pick them to cover the 7. I think this is going to be a very run-heavy game. Baltimore's defense in the secondary isn't quite as good as it's been in other years, and the defensive line is not getting a ton of pressure. Now, they will, because this offensive line sucks, but hey, maybe make an adjustment. Maybe say, hey, Demetrius Harris, you're a big dude. I know you're mainly a receiver. Just get in the way of someone. And maybe when they need a 1st down and they need 8 yards, they don't run 4 verts down the field. Maybe they run someone, 12 yards down the field. Maybe throw to him. I don't know. But you have to think they make an adjustment. If they don't make adjustments from what we saw that everyone could see visibly on the screen from that Sunday night game, Kitchens might be fired after this week.
2 things. I'm not going to get on the whole, because like I said earlier, Lamar Jackson was honing his craft all offseason, putting on weight, proper areas, practicing, becoming a better thrower. Every time Baker was, doing some media shoot, Lamar was in a backyard flipping a tire. And that, I'm not here to paint that, but I will agree with the other part that the coaching of Freddie Kitchens is an unmitigated disaster. It will end horribly. They allowed their young, exuberant quarterback to pick the head coach. And now the kid owns the franchise. On the complete opposite, there are a lot of teams the quarterback will have no say in that, and the coach is number 1 on the hierarchy. Here, it's not that way. Baker owns the coach. It's not going to end well.
Maybe he can make some adjustments this week.
I'm taking the +7.
He's an NFL head coach. Maybe he can figure this out. Because the defense
he was a running backs coach a year ago this time.
The defense looks really good, though. And they were down half their guys last week.
And hopefully they get really healthy, and I'll bet real money on the 7 points. I think that's a fantastic number.
But Baltimore's been running the ball so well this year as a product of the 3-headed backfield, and Lamar just opening everything up because he has to be accounted for every time he's under center. You have to be like, oh man, is this going to be play action? He's just going to roll out for 60 yards? And we're going to see it with the Giants as well. We saw it last week that once you have a threat, why is Frank Gore gaining yards on the ground? Because people are terrified that Josh Allen is going to run by them. It opens up running lanes. I just don't think that Cleveland has to commit as many guys as a normal NFL defense would to actually stopping the run. If they can shut it down and you force Lamar back to throw, maybe he beats you that way. He can, but that's the proposition that I would want to take in this game. So Cleveland for me, Cleveland for Geoff, Baltimore and Baltimore. Next game, bye week at the New York Jets. Bye week is favored by 14 points on the road, Tim.
Yeah, I'll lay the points.
So bad. I can't believe they covered that game. That is the most outrageous cover I think I've ever seen.
Oh, I'm sure we could probably think of 50 more outrageous covers, but we didn't deserve it.
No, but like it's funny because the spread ended up being what 21.5, and they cover.
Talking about the Jets, I was hoping we wouldn't have to. They're on bye. Leave them be.
Well, I have a few points about the Jets here.
Ugh.
Well, one, so they covered the spread by I forget what his name is. The kick returner everyone was all fired up about. New Julian Edelman. Turns out he sucks and muffs punts. So he muffs a punt. The Jets score a special teams touchdown. Then they pull Brady, put in the backup. He throws a pick six. And that's how they have to cover the spread. How many yards did they gain in that game? Negative 40?
Not many, but I mean, teams in the NFL very, very, very rarely cover 20-point spreads. The Cowboys are an exception there. It didn't seem like both teams were going to last week anyway. Just worked out that I picked the right side. But no, that Jets team without Sam, it's clear that they're going nowhere.
Well,
in a hurry.
Does it bother you that now everyone thinks Sam Darnold sucks because Danny Dimes is around? He's the real New York quarterback people like?
I couldn't. You know what? I couldn't care less.
Oh, really?
Sam is sick. When he comes back, he'll play fine, and then people remember that he's pretty good. I am not using the New York Giants as a measuring stick to measure my quarterback. I think that's a fool's errand.
Seems like you're kind of jealous that they have a good quarterback and you have one who has mono because he makes out with high schoolers.
You mean a team in a different conference that my team sees 4 times a year? I'm not jealous of that at all.
I mean, you called the Jets the preeminent AFC franchise. They're not even the best franchise in their own city by like a fifth.
Well, listen, I said that. How do I put this? Being a preeminent team in the AFC is not that special of a thing. I mean, there's the NFC that's up here, then there's a space, and then there's the AFC that's down here. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I know what you're trying to do. I'm just defeated. Like I got no spark. What can I tell you? It's a sad place to be.
Does that mean they're not going 12-4?
12-4. They might not win 2 more games. Well, they weren't going to win any games until Sam comes back, and then they might win 3 or 4. I don't know, man. Like it's rough. Things are not going well. But you know what? Like I'm
smiling about.
Yeah.
Like I've said,
I told you have Sam Darnold on your team. The only reason that he's your starting quarterback is so you can tank for the number 1 pick next year. How embarrassing is it going to be when Darnold comes back? They maybe win a game, you get all fired up, and they lose to Miami.
It won't be that devastating because I've accepted that this year is going to be a train wreck now, and I'm a changed man. Next year, I will not be overexcited about the Jets.
Oh yeah.
They'll get like a 4th overall pick. Tim's gonna add that guy to the team.
This last couple of weeks has been a real moment of clarity for me, and I've learned something. I've grown. I think I've learned something here.
Question from the audience, sir.
Great opportunity for people to win some free DK bucks by clipping that one for us for next year when he gets overexcited about the Jets' chances.
I was going to say, I'll even give you an approximate time code. That's like 32, but someone will come up with the exact time code. Yeah, we're going to be rerunning that one for a while when they draft some loser first overall next year. When they pass on good quarterbacks to keep shitty Sam, it's going to be funny. You're already on the Fire Gase bandwagon.
Not quite, but I'm getting closer and closer because the first little bit of adversity that's been thrown at him, it's been a swing and a miss. That's very disappointing. I don't quite know what their plan is, but like I said, whatever. This year's a write-off, so I can't get too upset about these things. I just have to channel my energies into cheering against the teams I don't like.
Imagine, Geoff, that this was like a fan of something like, let's say it was you. Let's say CUST was a Geoff Fienberg fan. How quickly he turns on you.
I listen, he's defeated. He's broken on this issue.
So defeated. It's sad to hear about it. I love hearing about it.
I mean, he planted his flag in the ground pretty hard, and it's all just been rolling back.
But he did it to your team, too.
That is, again, that's been death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
It is.
Are you saying the worst hasn't come yet?
It's just a continuous. There's just daily daggers, quarterly daggers. Sort of just wasn't the 1 or 1.5 death blows that the Jets have gotten.
All right, let's go to the next game. The Detroit Lions hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. Like every week so far this year, the Lions spread seems super trappy. They're +6 at home. The game total is 54. I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible. Unless the Lions continue to work this like voodoo magic they have going on, the Chiefs cover this. I'm taking the Chiefs. The Chiefs are way better than the Lions. I am not buying this whatsoever. Jeff.
Well, the Chiefs' defense still makes them susceptible potentially to close games.
The coin likes Detroit.
I'll take. You really got to plug your nose to go against the Chiefs, but I'll take the Chiefs. This is. I'd hold out though for a real bet. This is going to climb. This is 80% Chiefs money. The books seem to be banking on Detroit right now.
Yeah, I don't know what their algorithm is telling them, but you're right. The public is going to hammer this number. I'm going to hammer this number at -6 on the road. I just don't understand. Like, it seems like a bizarrely fishy line, doesn't it? Like, why isn't it 8 or 9? Because people are still betting the 8 or 9.
Yeah, I'm not. That's a good question. And Detroit hasn't given up. Detroit
You
hasn't
could
given.
run back the conversation we had before week 2, and we're like, I don't know why Detroit is only whatever they were against the Chargers. This is a fishy line.
Yeah, but that's...
And then we all said, yeah, but we got to take the Chargers. And then we all took them.
Sure.
And we're all going to take the Chiefs again. I am too. I'm going to take Kansas City.
I already said I'm taking Detroit.
Oh, okay, sir. Well, I'm taking Kansas City. I'm teasing them down. There's a second part of a free money teaser because now can't beat them, join them. So let's take them 2 weeks in a row. But I don't know. Just I've gotten Detroit wrong 3 weeks in a row. So I'm beginning to think that maybe this is just the team this year I can't figure out. So that's the extent of what I have to say is that the Chiefs are a significantly better team. They're indoors, fast track. They should be able to rip apart a pretty sketchy Lions team on the back end, but we will see.
Lions haven't given up a sack in 2 games. They keep that up, they'll move the ball. They're not going to win.
But it's not even like they're completing. One of the main reasons that they're not taking sacks because they run the ball up the middle somehow for 3 yards in a cloud of dust every single time.
So isn't that the strategy to beat the Chiefs or to try to?
You have to be effective running the ball. You can't be ineffective doing it. Like they had a punt return, they had a kickoff return touchdown last week, but they had 3 fumble recoveries. Like it's all smoke and mirrors with them. They're not good.
I hope this thing gets to a touchdown.
I would not feel comfortable going into the Chiefs like that. Like the Chiefs didn't cover last week. They didn't cover by the half point.
Sure, but you could argue that the Ravens left a lot of singles out there.
I mean, you could argue that the Ravens also got incredibly lucky to score 2 of those touchdowns, which were pass interference and should have been intercepted.
Sure.
And Detroit doesn't have the talent Baltimore does.
Nope.
You seem odd on this.
The spread should be higher. This public's pounding the Chiefs like it's free.
The public's not always wrong, though.
No, but when the line
the whole world was, everybody was on the Rams on Sunday, and the books took one of their biggest beatings apparently in a long time on the Rams.
Yeah, but that line moved. See, okay, there's a big difference that people need to realize right now. Scariest games in the freaking world are when they're so heavily one-sided, but the line doesn't move. That Rams game moved 2.5 points as that the late day money kept crushing it. It got off a key number of 3 to 3.5 to 4. Like, that game moved. The books were reacting to the steam. It's a game like Thursday night when the world's pounding the Titans and the books are, that shit's not moving off 1.5 points. Those are the games.
That's a fair point.
Those are the games. If the line moves, any public argument is off the table because the books are reacting to the money. It's when those 80% games are coming in and the line just wants to stay. Now, we're early in the week. We talk about this a lot. I think, like you said, the books, this is very sketchy because the books probably feel they could lay a 7.5 and people will still lay the touchdown and the hook.
No, I think they'd get a lot of take back if they put it to 7.5.
I guess, I don't know. They're afraid of a few sharps then, but I think this thing will climb eventually because it'll be too much to bear. Because the Lions might not have lost a game, but they have not lost. The public has not changed their perception of them yet, in my opinion.
It's just strange. Like they gave away that game at Arizona in week 1.
The Chargers gave
the Chargers gave them the game in week 2, and Philadelphia actually probably should have won last week, and they played horrible. And Detroit just kept letting them back in it. If you do that to the Chiefs, you're going to pay.
Sure.
Agreed.
So,
Chiefs still be down up 2 scores, and Stafford will backdoor the cover.
all right, we'll see then. Chargers at Miami, getting -16 on the road for the Chargers. 44 is the game total. As we pointed out, 4th in yards per play, can't score touchdowns when it counts. Jeffrey, what's going on with the Chargers?
I don't really know. They're just a wounded animal.
Are they cursed?
That could be the case. They're not at the moment able to overcome all the death blows. They're like fine, they're okay. They're going to be in a lot of close games. They have enough to keep them close against like 93% of the teams in the league. They're just, things are really hurting them. They come out of the locker room flat. I'll get to that in 1 second, and I'm going to go somewhere else because I don't care to talk about this game. To blame Phillip Rivers, you have to be a psychopath. How much more can he do?
He could not be cursed.
He could put the ball in Benjamin's hands. Guys just drop wide. Like he made 3 plays on that drive to try to tie the game. The Benjamin drop, the Culkin drop. He gets us a 1st and goal to the 8, and there's a penalty on the holding. He can't make a 4th play. I'm sorry. It's not his fault.
It's not your fault either. It's Tim's fault. We know all of that.
But they can't overcome. It doesn't matter if it's the Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans. The guy to play in fantasy is the YR2s.
Not this week.
Because we don't have, fine. I'm talking long term. We do not have the back end depth right now to hold the fort down. Casey Hayward is holding down YR1s. We cannot make other plays. We cannot. They're going after it. They see it.
Can you rewind for a second and just explain your real-time reaction to the Benjamin drop after?
It was expected. I hate him. And people who watch the show, like it's a real thing. It's not like, I cannot believe it. As you know, ownership doesn't hate me personally, where I could slide into DMs, and I'm always tempted to go there, but I don't want to burn the relationship.
You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I went as far as I went because I don't want to be that guy. I'm not going to @ anyone on Twitter. I'm not going to @ Travis, but I would like him to just exit my life. There's the door, the front. I don't know. It's the one mistake. I feel like Telesco has really constructed a fantastic roster, but this guy kills me. I don't want to go there. The first half, my coach is Idris Elba. Like everything works perfectly. Everything. Both sides. Perryman played 44 snaps. The run defense was pretty good, man.
It was.
We just can't, again,
Also,
it's that
in fairness, Carlos Hyde sucks.
Sure, but we cannot, again, I keep going back to it. We cannot get those second, third, the second tight. Like, we cannot get those guys right now. We cannot. We've lost our second corners. We've lost our safeties. We've got no name. Guys, if I don't know you and you're starting on the Chargers, it's not good. It's not good. But we come out of the locker room, and my coach is like Al Roker mid-transition. I don't know what happens. I don't know.
Too much halftime prayer?
Maybe. Now, I didn't want to go that long on that because I meant to go somewhere else.
By the way, I'm taking Chargers -16.
Yeah, there's a few games a year where we run train, right? Like, we're very Atlanta Falcons right? Like, there's a few games a year that we just look really cool and good, and maybe this will be
Preston
the day.
Williams might be a problem for you here, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, for the Chargers' first trip to Miami this season, I'm taking them laying the 16 points, and I'm going to keep them down to 9.5 as well.
Okay. I will say, Pat, we got the Chargers, or we got the Dolphins, the Broncos, and the Steelers. So
Broncos game will be tougher than you think.
Yeah, probably. And they're our rival. Like, there's a personal hate there between the teams. A lot of weird things in the last couple years in which we've played them. And I really beg they can get off the mat. I don't want to play them 0-4, fake punting and shit. You know what I mean? And I think at this point with the Dolphins, you got to spy everything.
Yeah, but they're no good. They can run their fake punts that'll go for negative 4
But my
yards.
point being is, so if you spy it and you get no return because you're protecting it, what do you care? You'll get that. You'll make that first down back in 2 plays.
But if the Chargers are in white, at least the Dolphins will look sharp again this week, right? In those aqua jerseys, right, Pat?
They look really good last week.
We're gonna wear the babies.
Can we have baby blue? Color Rush baby blue versus Aquafit?
No, but our color rushes are actually some of the real nicer ones. They're the true blues.
I like those.
They're actually one of the few
They're
gems.
not just ugly knockoff.
I hate
black ones.
that we took the time here because I really wanted to go in.
I do like those Dolphins jerseys though.
They are sharp.
They do
The
look
throwbacks
sharp.
are nicer, but
Okay, can I be really quick with something?
Is it about the Chargers?
Yes.
Sure.
there's a lot of stories that have come out to people that follow, again, that try to put mud on the Chargers and the relocation, which is fair. But right now, Mr. Kroenke is upset because Mr. Kroenke signed a deal that he doesn't like anymore. Let's just rewind the clock here. He buys the Rams. There's a secret plan by the NFL, guys at the very, very top. New TV deals coming. It's been long enough. We've got to get back into LA. Can Mark Davis do it? No, he doesn't really have the money. Can Dean Spanos
or the
do
haircut,
it?
really?
No, he doesn't have the money. We need a white knight. It was Stan Kroenke. Because the state of California won't give anyone a cent, and he would move the team, and he would build the palace. So there we are. There were long-standing owners like the late Jerry Richardson and a lot of like old school, the Hunts. Like a lot of the old school people were like, Dean has waited his time. He's played by the rules. He's done everything the league has asked for. We've got to stand by him. We've got to stand by him. In the end, the league really turncoated on the Chargers, and what was supposed to be an open ballot was a secret ballot. And a lot of the owners that told Dean to his face they would vote for him made it a secret ballot, and in the dark of night, Jerry Jones said, no, you've got to, if we go into LA, it has to be done right, and we have to have the money, and Stan can do that. So that makes total sense. The owners went with that route. So then the league had three options. The Rams in LA by themselves, the Chargers and Raiders go to LA together, or the Rams go with a partner. They were able to get the Raiders into Vegas, and they gave Dean the 2-year option. You are the first in on LA if you want it to go into Stan's building. They didn't actually think Dean would follow through on that, which is probably pretty stupid because the state of California would never give a cent. Fast forward, that stadium that was supposed to cost $1.9 billion, that is going to be the centerpiece of the U.S. Olympic bid, that's going to host the World Cup, the WrestleManias, the Final Fours, everything.
It'd be the home of the NFL, basically.
Yes, it is going to be the mecca of everything, is now approaching $5 billion. Stan is paying for this. Stan is now not happy that his partners in this are not responsible for anything. Stan is not happy that the only money on paper Dean Spanos is obligated to give the Rams is the PSL money. Personal seat licenses, people familiar know in these new fancy stadiums to actually have the rights to own the seat. Like you have to own the seat before you can buy the tickets. The Chargers have undercut the Rams exponentially because they don't care about the PSL money because they have to give all the PSL money to the Rams for stadium costs. So if you are, say, in LA and you like an AFC team or you're just a neutral football fan, you can buy the Rams season's tickets and pay exponentially more for a PSL, or say, you know what, I like these AFC teams that come in here more. Maybe I'll buy the Charger one. I don't care about the Chargers, but that's my ticket. And like we're selling these things like PSLs for like $100.
Like Chiefs fans, Steelers fans,
Yeah.
they're all just lining up.
Yeah, and
If people in
and
Buffalo,
Kroenke
had any money, they would do it.
Yes, and Kroenke is now losing his mind that the Chargers are now getting a freebie. And it's turning into this whole thing that the Chargers are like ruining it for them, but that's their problem. The Chargers have done nothing wrong. They've lived up to every letter of the agreement that the league signed. His right to LA was to have to pay our freight to get the golden ticket that is LA. And I don't know, you're the developer. It's your fault that your stadium is $3 billion overrun.
I think the Chargers should go the other way, pull out of the deal. Remember when they used to have those, when Mankind used to wrestle the Undertaker and it'd be like the boiler room brawl, it'd be like pre-filmed and everything like that? The Chargers should just play their game in like a hockey arena with no fans.
They already do.
Sure. So there we are, and the Rams can suck it.
Are you taking the Chargers?
Yeah, though they're going to cover this one.
I feel like they are too.
They're 0-3 ATS, though.
Next game. Dare I say the game of the week? Patriots at Bills. The Bills, 7 points at home. 43 is the over-under. I kind of want to go to Buffalo this weekend. It's going to be, I don't want to be there after the game, after they lose and people are like mad, but the pregame for this at Orchard Park is going to be off the hook. It's going to be flaming table power bombs for everyone outside of Orchard Park. You can stop at that Walmart, get yourself some nice tables, park on someone's lawn, buy a $5 cap, drink all the Baileys out of the bottle you want, and just get fired up. This crowd is going to be amped, and I feel like by the end of the game, they're not going to be so amped.
This is a tough one because the Patriots could look at this one of two ways, and y'all out there could think I'm nuts because there's only one way the Patriots go about performing games. and they could see the Bills as obviously the Bills are the one team that could catch them because the Jets are dead and the Dolphins are the worst ever. So they could just be ready to throat stomp the Bills and just say, let's end it. Let's make our mark in September. Or they're just like,
Whatever.
Or they're just like, it's September. Let this team play their Super Bowl. And this thing's like over 16. We will catch them. We will pass them. We will have our seating positioning. Sometimes in September, they don't want to go into the fight. Like every year, like last year into Detroit.
I'm curious.
Just like,
that
game started and like the Patriots just don't want to go into the fight
Hold on, maybe Tim can look this up as we go, although he's bad at the internet. So maybe Paul has to look it up. I don't know. I'd be curious to know what the Patriots' record over the past 5 years in weeks 4, 5, and 6 are. I feel like this is the season. It seems like at this point, the beginning of October every year, it's like, oh, Brady's done. He'll never win a game again. Then they win the Super Bowl.
I feel like I don't know. Part of me is like they're so due just to get. Even like years ago, and the Patriots, I think they just won the Super Bowl, and they went into Buffalo. It was like the Bledsoe game, and they just like mopped. Like sometimes, and I know there's like 15 examples over the last 15 years of these early games. Last year it was Detroit. Big season. It was a primetime game. They're just like, you can be all intense like you're playing in the Super Bowl today. It's like September 28th, and we'll see you in 4 months. Have fun.
Yeah, we won't see you, Detroit, but we'll see someone.
You know what so that's sort of like what I'm worried about. Or the Bills start off like a fire cannon, but they're only up 9-0, and then Brady makes a play and it's 9-7, and you're like, you guys are so screwed.
So, Tim, let me ask you, because it's going to come down to one of these two things, I feel like. The Patriots are pretty banged up. Their offensive line.
I was going to say, yeah.
The offensive line is in shambles. Julian Edelman's hurt. Josh Gordon is hurt. They do get James White with baby swag back on their side, which is actually huge for them in this game. Like, if Edelman's 100%, that's also huge for them in this game.
But
and how to attack this Bills defense. And the Bills defense is, again, probably a top 5, top 3 defense in the league. They'll get to Brady. But does all of that outweigh what Belichick is going to do to Josh Allen? I love Josh Allen. I think he's fantastic. But going
it
up
ain't
against
the Giants D, it ain't the Bengals D, and it ain't the Jets without Sam Monod.
I brought this up, Tim, with Jake on the ranking show that Belichick will always try to take away your best option. And realistically, on the Bills, who was it? John Brown in the receiving game? Do you just contain Josh Allen and make him stand in the pocket and throw? Because if he does that, he might throw 5 picks.
To me, Bill could also just rope-a-dope these guys. Like, let Josh have his way, think he sees something, and the next time when they play them as the Bills actually become the B team to the team that could be the one to throw them off, then they start throwing their real hammers. But let the Bills think something that isn't true. I just don't know if the Patriots want to meet the intent. The Bills and their coaching staff and their fans are playing, and like, I don't want to say an AFC, like a wild card weekend game. Like, that's what the intensity is in one locker room, and the other locker room, it's September 24, whatever.
Yeah,
and we'll see. So, and that could backfire on Buffalo, but give me the 7.
I'm taking the 7 as well. The coin is taking New England. Tim, I'm very curious. After Bills fans were very upset with you for cursing the Bills in their season last week, and people don't have high hopes now that you've jumped on their bandwagon.
Were the Patriots at full health this week? I might have been tempted to take New England in this game. But given that Edelman will not be 100%, given that Josh Gordon is injured, given that offensive line is not in good shape, and given that I think Buffalo, again, is one of the 3 or 4 places in football where, home field seems to matter, I'm gonna lay the points, take the points with Buffalo. I don't know. I'm expecting that early season still. Patriots poor game. It certainly could come here. I wouldn't shock me if the Bills won the game outright. I'm not going to pick that, but I will take Buffalo and the 7, a home dog in Division 3-0. I wonder how many times teams start 3-0, have a home game, and are getting a touchdown at home. It probably happens very infrequently. So let's take it here.
Yes, Bills fan from behind the camera.
I efforted the last 5 years, weeks 4, 5, 6. They're actually really good. They're 11-3. I'm not 100% that I'm right. They had a bye week one of those years.
So I feel like one of those losses was against Cincinnati, and everyone was just like, Brady's done. One of them was against Kansas City. Brady's done. I can't remember what the other one is.
There's always one.
It did Detroit last year?
11-3.
Yeah, was that week 3?
Yeah, that might have been last week.
Yeah, because they lost to Jacksonville and Detroit back-to-back last season.
Like
That's the last 5 years. Yeah.
last 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe perception over what the reality of the facts actually are. But like, do you know how New England covers this game? They win 17-3.
Oh yeah, last year they beat the Bills 23-3. That's the type of game they're going to win, and they beat them 24-12. The under is definitely the best play on the board here. I think the under is my favorite bet maybe all week is the Patriots Bills under. I don't think this
Put it on
this
your
approach-
teaser.
Yeah, chuck it on the teaser. Tease it down.
Nope.
Why not? You can the total. You can get that up to 49.5. If you say it's your favorite bet outright, why wouldn't you make it
Because
49.5?
Because he's got 4 other games he likes less that he's putting on his teaser.
Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
It never does.
So he's lying, is what he's saying. So it's not actually his
but
favorite
it-
bet of the week.
That's
That's what we're getting at. He's just saying stuff to say it. The Bills D is the big key here. Like, can they turn Brady over enough and score? Because if they do that, they're going to cover.
Yeah.
It feels like. I guess that's what we're betting on here with the Bills +7. Oakland at Indy. This is a real fun game. -6.5. Indy 45 is the over/under. The coin picked New England in that game, by the way.
I wish it was 7.
I wish it was 7 too, but Colts 2-0-1 against the spread. What game did they push against the spread?
Opening
No,
game against the
No,
Chargers.
they covered the Chargers game.
No, they pushed it. It was 6.
I go off of a certain website. I don't know if I'm allowed
The closing
to
line
say
was
it.
a 6, but on
So-
our record, you could say they were perfect.
It's like the Chiefs.
When
were
I bet
three-
it was 6.5.
Yeah,
Chiefs
but
were
that thing was, by game time, it was a 6.
All right,
so I guess you can
realistically,
look
they're
Yeah,
still undefeated.
I don't
against the
really
spread either
have
way.
anything I like here. I'm
Like,
plugging my nose. I'm going to take Oakland, Pat,
too.
just based on, yes, this Colts team as they're designed now, it seems like it will be just close games. Look at all 3 of their games. Very close games. Although last weekend got close.
What?
What was the final score? I guess Atlanta
No.
got back close.
Atlanta
didn't
came
they?
back into it. They didn't cover though.
Yeah.
Tim was dead on with Oakland, Minnesota. That really should have been your super lock. You had a lot of confidence talking about that game.
Yeah, I feel much about that game the way I feel about this game. I like the Colts. Colts are the 4th team on my teaser. I don't trust this Raiders team to go out on the road and win a ball game yet. I haven't
Raiders
seen
are
it.
on the road for 43 days going back to
Yeah,
last week.
they are. Next week, unfortunately, we start those dumb London games, and then
We'll have games going on while we do the live show. That'll be fun.
well, I did that might be at 2:00. There's only a couple of early London games, and then there's a
When
couple
I'm
that
in Vegas week 6, the Bucks and Panthers play. So that'll be like 6 a.m. Vegas.
Cool. You get to stay up all night and there's football on.
Yeah, I'm going for a bachelor party. We got a couple like pods at the Westgate that day, so it'll be real degenerate.
That sounds like fun. And you guys will be up all night.
Yes, we will. And I'll say last time we were in Vegas for another buddy's bachelor a few years ago, the characters at the Westgate, like you almost never want to bet again after seeing these.
and they're all
people.
betting the ponies, aren't they?
It is just our buddies that come that get into it that like aren't really into football, like they are just taken aback by like the
Level of degeneracy.
yes, like the type
Oh,
of
I know the people. It'd be like really sad versions
Yes.
of Cam who are there. Like Cam's fun and super positive, even when he's losing. He's super
but
positive.
wait till he's like has a 2 and 7 morning. I've had to do live shows way back in the day, Sunday shows with Cam, and yeah.
So here's the case for Oakland in this game: that Jacobs is healthier this week because he clearly was not last week, and he was dealing with an illness. He had lost 10 pounds during the week. They can establish the run. The Colts have the 3rd worst run defense through 3 weeks. Maybe they can slow the game down a little bit. And as we've seen with Indy, they probably won't have T.Y. Hilton in this game. And they're very content with throwing short passes and running the ball a bunch. It could just be one of those games where they're never in danger of actually losing, yet they don't win by a touchdown.
And you know what I think can go into that? The Colts play the Chiefs next week, who are now the big man on campus, especially in the American Football Conference. Regardless, don't take offense, Patriot fan. That's just how it is.
They will anyway. Don't worry.
The Patriots will be in the AFC Championship versus a team likely the Chiefs, but
Maybe.
the Chiefs are like kind of, are they not?
It's Patriots and Chiefs 1-2. They're the 2 best teams
Yeah,
in the
unless
league.
but a team like Baltimore is exactly the type of team that would beat the Patriots. In
Sure,
Foxborough.
whatever. We'll get there
Done it
when we
multiple
get
times.
there. But like, I don't know, this love affair with how amazing, he's the coolest guy in football. And I'm not saying he isn't because he is Mahomes.
Well, no, Minshew Walk is the coolest.
Sure,
guy in
I'm just
football.
saying, and like, yeah, Power rankings, the Chiefs would be ahead of the Patriots. That's not like pick to win the Super Bowl, but so again, the Colts have that game on deck.
Really? We do the power rankings every Monday show. The Patriots are the number one team. Their defense hasn't given up a touchdown yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would rank the Chiefs 1, Cowboys 2, Patriots 3. The Patriots haven't played anybody yet. You know,
Hey, but Dallas has.
Dallas hasn't played anybody great, but they've played. They played fine. They beat the Redskins. They beat the Giants. Giants look like maybe they're halfway decent, and then they won last week against the Dolphins, which you had to do. Like, I don't know. I just think there's a little more talent on the Dallas side than the Patriots.
I like that he's giving credit to Dallas for beating the Dolphins, but not the Patriots for beating the Dolphins.
The Patriots had to beat, but they also had to play the Jets. Like, the Patriots got to play the two worst teams in football, and the Chiefs at least have played decent team. Like, I don't know how in this world one could not put the Chiefs 1. The Chiefs have beaten the Ravens, and the Patriots, Cowboys, Packers, whoever else you wanted to put up there haven't beaten anybody that good. Oh, well, the Packers beat the Bears. I probably would have the Packers ahead of the Patriots right now, truth be told.
Whatever.
Would you, Geoff?
I don't know. I'm upset I even said it because it's week 3 and all this stuff works itself out naturally.
You mean the standings will eventually dictate what happens?
Yes.
We'll get to a playoff, and these teams will play each other?
Yes, they're teams that haven't played the competition you want, but it's inevitable. I don't know.
So Oakland for you and I.
I don't love it, and I wish it was 7, and I think maybe it could get to 7.
Here's the biggest problem. It probably will get to 7.
The Raiders on the road. The Raiders everything. The Raiders.
I made a pretty startling admission on Twitter the other night that I saw the movie Black Knight with Martin Lawrence twice in theaters. I'm not proud of that. I also watched a lot of that Raiders-Minnesota game last week, and Derek Carr is horrible. Like, truly, truly horrible. He looks like he's going to get his receivers and or running backs injured on every pass that he throws.
Okay, well, at least he's not Joe Flacco, who looks like he's going to get injured on every
At least he's
play.
taking responsibility trying to get hurt. Derek Carr is trying to pass the buck on the injuries.
Fair enough.
But no Malik Hooker in this game. We're not sure if Darius Leonard's going to be back. I think that they want to slow the pace of this game down. That's how they want to play now with Jacoby Brissett, not Andrew Luck. I think that it just plays into other teams potentially covering with them once they get to too large of a spread. It's a lot like the Bills thing from last week. And the worst thing almost that could happen to the Bills in that Patriots game is what happened to them against Cincinnati last week. They get up by 10 points. Then they legit don't know what to do. They are so comfortable playing from behind, and their offense actually looks good when they're playing from behind. But once they revert into, oh God, we have to protect a lead, they don't know what to do. And it turns out horribly. So I'm going to take Oakland here. Tennessee and Atlanta.
Who do they play in England next week, Tim?
Darn it. I was just looking at it. Next week, they are home to the Bears. And it's thankfully, it's a 2:00 game, even though it's in London. Thank goodness. No early game.
You're up at 6 a.m. anyway.
I don't like it. We'll talk about it next week.
Because it cuts into your meet the press time?
Yes, and that varies. Yes,
it's a big week. It's a big week for Meet the Press.
Is it? Is Trump on?
I don't know. Apparently, as we're recording, they're filing impeachment papers.
Oh, come on. That's never going to happen.
I just say listen, I was listening to
By the way, real bad look if you finally, after the 30th thing that happens, you file the papers and then it doesn't work. It just makes you look like idiots.
And it's going to embolden his side, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's how, You better be sure if you're actually going to do this, which I guarantee you they are not.
Listen, I was listening to those news channels coming in on the Sirius XM, and it seemed like it was go time.
Oh, you're listening to the fake news media?
No,
bad idea.
Even the real news. Well, never mind.
I think we should hook Tim up with a camera and a microphone. I feel like there's a void that has been left by Alex Jones that Tim could fill.
I don't want to go there.
Okay.
I disagree. That's terrible.
Because that's Tim doesn't peddle in that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but given the right audience, he could.
No.
It wouldn't start that way. But Tim says some pretty crazy things that, those 5% of people that vote in his polls for him. Imagine if that was 1 million people and the crazy shit he would say then.
I'm really, Tim, this doesn't make me elite. The whole
No.
We'll get there later?
No, not yet.
Okay, sorry.
Not yet.
Sorry.
Okay, I better make a note. That tells me where we're going.
You better have all your notes prepared to filibuster because it's not good for you.
That's a tease. In the biz, we call it a tease. Tim, you're
It's
gonna have
good
to.
for SEO.
Tim,
It's good for SEO.
Tim, you're gonna have to learn all these tricks of the trade: the teases, the throw to breaks when you have your own solo conspiracy podcast. But it's just about how people are out to get you, just not in general. Which
You blocked it.
I know you think people are out to get you. Tennessee and Atlanta. You made the case to me before the show, Geoff, that this is one of your favorite games on the board. The Falcons are favored by 4. The total is 46. I feel like stealing everything you said because you feel exactly the same way I do, but I'll let you take it.
Tennessee feels to me like they are designed to bully this type of finesse roster construction that is the Atlanta Falcons. All week, Pat, I feel like I have, all show, whether it be the Cleveland pick, I could probably find another one, or no, the next game we'll talk about, but overreaction to an ugly primetime loss, extra time to prepare. Mike Vrabel is willing to, he said he's willing to chop off his dick. They will own the trenches in this game. The Titans +4, a guaranteed real money bet for me on a very short list of games I really like, so could end up being my super lock. Titans -4 to just bully Atlanta all over the field.
For the second consecutive year, Keanu O'Neal is out for the season. You worry that the finesse part and the high explosive play of the Falcons could just overwhelm.
Yeah, and
Tennessee,
if
but
they get down 2 scores, they're
done.
in big trouble. But I don't think it gets there. I don't trust this Falcon group one bit. The only game they've won this year was a spot game, like a Sunday nighter at home.
That if Aguilar doesn't drop it, they lose
that
anyway.
all the injury. Yeah, it was just the Eagles got in a bad spot. Atlanta off a really ugly week 1 game coming home for prime time. That's all I've seen is they barely won a spot game. So Tennessee big, Tennessee outright.
Yeah, like even when you look at like the offensive lines, like Tennessee currently has the worst offensive line in the league per adjusted sack rate, but a lot of that just has to do with Jacksonville sacking Mariota every time he dropped back. Like just a touch of creativity from Tennessee. Maybe a play action on first down. Maybe once during the game. That's a touchdown. Because everyone is selling out to stop Derrick Henry because you run it with him on first down every single time. Just do something differently. And this could be a game where Corey Davis gets off the mat. Tim's buddy Hump Daddy, he can do some work here. Maybe a nice showcase for A.J. Brown as well. That they have enough talent here that I think they can keep it close. And I would say this is the classic game where Atlanta just wins by a field goal. They don't cover the game. But this is Tennessee. They always have stupid scores. So I'm going to say Atlanta wins, but they only win by 2. Because Tennessee will miss an extra point or something like that.
Sure.
But the coin likes Atlanta. Tim, I bet you like Atlanta.
No, I'll be very brief. I don't like either of these teams much right now. The Titans have had extra time coming off the short week. And I'm just going to, I think 4 points is a little bit too much. So I'll take the Titans.
All right. Last game of the early slate. I don't even want to spend too much time on this. Redskins at Giants. Giants are favored by 2.5 points. 49 is the over-under. If you want to bet this game and you want to be on the side of Pat Mayo, and I assume Geoff Fienberg, and I'm going to assume Tim as well. I feel like this is a perfect style game where all three of us tend to agree, and we tend to be right about these sorts of things. Just give this some more time. Everyone's going to steam the Giants. This might even get up to 3.5. The Redskins are equally as good as the Giants. The Giants are not as good as they looked last week. And don't forget that they were down by 18 points in that game, and Tampa Bay is just stupid. And not saying the Redskins are.
And their star running back is now out?
Yes, and now there's a week of film on Daniel Jones as well to see what he does well and what he doesn't do well, what his tendencies are. And maybe the Redskins aren't the team to take advantage of that, but I don't think the Case Keenum's going to have as much difficulty with the Giants defense as he did with the Bears defense. I like Washington plus 2.5.
I agree.
It took late into the 1 o'clock card for me to get to the games that I actually want to bet on. I can't wait to bet the Giants this week. I look forward.
You like the Giants?
Oh, sorry, the Redskins. You're 100% right, Pat. I think this gets to 3. Although I want to say, for all the games with the primetime overreaction, Vegas is baiting that Giant money.
Oh yeah,
because
they want that Giant
the
money.
Titans, every team that got their ass whipped in primetime last week, we saw the advanced spreads like really move. Not here. The Redskins got thoroughly cracked last night, and the books. And I thought we could get out of the gate, get the numbers we want. But it makes me confident that Vegas is like, no, you keep bet the Giants. We are not altering the line based on the primetime game. You all can believe in the Giants. I like the Redskins a lot.
So do I.
A lot.
I like they're
Yeah,
on. They'll make my Super 7 this week. I don't know if I'm going to super lock them in, but the one hesitation that I have is maybe Daniel Jones is just really good. Now, I don't necessarily believe that. It's 1 week, and he did a lot of it just by running around in the backfield when against Tampa Bay's defense. And again, not to say the Redskins are significantly better, if at all, better than the Bucs defense, but the Bucs defense does one thing really well, as we'll get to here after. In the late set of games, they stopped the run, and they were shutting down Barkley. They just couldn't account for a quarterback that ran. I think with a week of film and realistically analyzing these tendencies, because Daniel Jones for half that game looked god-awful and couldn't make a throw. It was making poor decisions. That I think that the defense of the Redskins is going to be equipped enough to take advantage of that. And Case Keenum, I mean, he's not going to look as bad as he did in the first half on the Monday Nighter. Even if he looks as good as he did in the second half, that's going to be good enough against the Giants defense, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Coin also likes Washington, by the way. We've reached the midway point. We're through.
Do you know the Redskins? Sorry, their team leader in rushing yards for the season is like AP at like 67 yards total through 3 games.
Oh, Tim, is it an AP week or not an AP week? Because it feels like an AP week.
It is most certainly an AP week. Now, yeah, that ruins the SEO value of it. I was going to mention it on a live show.
Yeah, but there's no SEO value for that show because it only has a 1 hour shelf life.
Yeah, but if people saw the icon of AP before the for the show, then they would know, oh, he's going to talk about AP.
You realize that if people see AP, the SEO value would go towards the Associated Press?
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know because you don't know what SEO is.
I know it.
Do you? Do you know what it is?
Yes, of course I do.
All right. We're at the midway point here. Geoff, would you finally like to bring this up, please? Mr. Elite Geoff?
No, okay, sorry. Yeah, you cannot turn this back on me or people who agree with me being
You mean
elite.
sensible people?
Taking home like toast from the restaurant is looks like a homeless move.
So here's the thing. I can see if you have extra, I don't know who goes out to like brunch or breakfast and has extra. Like, what are you going to, if you go for breakfast and you go for like the hash browns, the eggs, the toast, the pancakes, the sausage, the ham, the whatever, I mean, you're probably pretty hungry and hungover. You're eating that entire thing. I don't know who's bringing anything home with them, but I could see the toast being thrown in if you had extra, but you're not eating it when you get home. And definitely not putting it in the microwave and eating it, Tim.
Well, I'm putting the whole thing in the microwave.
But you're eating the toast that you put in the microwave. Toast sucks 6 minutes into a meal.
I don't mind it. I think it's not as good as when it comes right out of the toaster, sure.
But we're okay, here's the thing.
But I'm not some elitist that can just afford to throw my money away.
You're not throwing anything away. You're talking about slice of bread. You buy your loaf of Wonder Texas toasts, man.
For $1.50.
If I bought it, it's mine, and I will have it.
No, man.
Like this is truly one of the lowest things you can do.
Well,
like also, you know what might be even worse than going home and microwaving toast to eat later from breakfast as leftovers? Bringing home eggs and reheating them. Like eggs are low key. Something, and especially because toast takes a minute and a half to make. Eggs take less than that. You can have brand new stuff and not subject yourself to living like a hobo. I don't even know if that's a hobo move.
Well, when you said that it would get no response in the poll, it was well over into double digits. People who were on.
No, those are sick. I'm disgusted.
No. Tim doesn't understand this. Is the
they just vote to
they know that being on Tim's side leads to him believing this stuff and him espousing more crazy ideas. Like no one actually believes
what's going
this.
on. That's not Occam's that people vote for the things they agree with.
No,
you're saying people are actually doing
Tim, they do not.
Where they're voting against their interests to pump up my tires to get me to say something.
Yes.
I think that is nonsense. I think people are just voting the way their conscience dictates.
You live like a common homeless person.
No.
The fact that you're not addicted to heroin blows my mind.
I live like the average Joe.
No.
That is who I am.
It's done. The jig is up. It's over.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. You're not man of any people. You're not.
You brush your teeth with bottled water.
water from a cooler, not bottled water.
Okay, so
Crack
you-
it open
you-
and Dasani to use it.
You brush your teeth with bottled water. You boil your water for ice cubes, so it's pure all the way through. Yet you bring home soggy toast from a restaurant and reheat it in the microwave and eat it.
Heat it up, and then you slather a bunch of marmalade on it, and you're good to go.
Oh
Don't worry
no!
It's so wet and gross already, man.
So what? Whatever.
And think about the places that you go to get food. It's not like you're getting high quality bread.
That's not true.
Like bringing bread home. Okay, like if you do takeout, popular restaurant people could relate to. Obviously, Tim wouldn't be able to, but say like Cheesecake Factory, I really like their like black bread.
Okay.
And you do takeout, I'll ask them to like put some of that in. That's normal, right?
Or cheddar
Like you know
bacon.
the
Is it toasted?
No, it's
No.
the bread that they would put on
Yeah.
the table before you eat.
Look,
But I bring the breadsticks home from ESM.
The fuck is ESM?
Inside Mario's. I bring the breadsticks back.
Oh my god.
Why are you?
Are those are all you can eat breadsticks? So you're taking all you can eat breadsticks and like bringing more food
I
home
don't
than you're
think
actually
that's
allotted.
like crazy. If you are, say, bringing home like half your pasta and there's like 2 breadsticks left in the bin,
It gets thrown
you
in.
throw it in.
Sure.
If you want to do
I'm
it.
not-
Throw it out anyway.
You're talking about actually bringing home toast. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what we're talking about. You're wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong. It is.
Clearly, 1 in 9 people disagree with
No,
you.
they
so I
don't.
can't. That
I'm not
wrong.
even buying it. I don't even buy
I would say
it.
that 5% of people probably agree with Tim because maybe, not a lot of homeless people have Twitter, but like deranged people have Twitter, so they're probably voting for him. The rest are just like troll votes.
Honestly, homeless people wouldn't even want your like. They
well, I mean,
wouldn't
there's not a
even-
whole lot of leftovers in the homeless community. In fairness,
No,
you get
but
some
like
food, you
the
pound
food
that into.
that like people would give them. Like I'm taking my leftovers, and you realize, oh, I got to go somewhere else. Here, like you
Here,
just-
have some soggy toast and some hour-old eggs.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can go ahead.
Like
and
Happy
live
Gilmore's
as
caddy
bougie
wouldn't even
as
eat the
all you
toast.
want. That's fine. You can be as bougie and elitist
No,
as you want.
no,
There's
no.
nothing
wrong,
bougie or elite.
wrong,
There's
wrong,
a difference between
wrong.
not being low and being bougie.
No, I'm
This is
talking about-
this is
Yeah.
being low.
Yeah, this is being
I'm
low.
not-
Yeah, no, this is being
No.
unintentionally low grade. Guys is standing on some moral hill of not wasting.
Who anyways everything.
Like the fact that you'll die on the hill of not like taking 2 pieces of bread from your loaf and just toasting it when you want toast. No, you're wrong.
Like
You're wrong.
this is like in the same vein as like this is low, just like thinking SpaghettiOs is Italian food is low.
It is an awesome lunch.
Do you think it's Italian food?
Well, I mean, I suppose if one were to categorize it, yes, I suppose one would have to.
Yes, from behind the camera.
I really think on the ESM, as Tim would say, we're bearing the lead here. This is all you can eat breadsticks. They have all you can eat salad, all you can eat soup. Tim is bringing home you're supposed to eat the food in the restaurant. You're not supposed to bring an all you can eat stuff back home with you.
Yeah, but if I've already got it on my plate, they're just gonna
Again,
throw it out.
I'm gonna say that if he has like some of his Italian, say, pasta entree left,
Or no, you go
I don't
there and
think
buy
it's
one
the-
meal, get a second meal free. You get your free meal, and you just wrap the whole free meal up.
if you had to rank, like, where does Eastside Mario's? That's like a higher end restaurant for you, right?
Middle of the road.
It's a low end restaurant.
It's actually very good.
No, it's not. It's like saying like Applebee's is a very average
you
restaurant.
find it in the downtown core of major Canadian cities. It's not some nonsense.
You realize that you find crappy restaurants everywhere because it's just like
The
when
chains,
when I
like
was
the
when I was in Reykjavik, they had a Hard Rock Cafe. You know who went there? No one. Tim would
Oh,
go
I
there.
love Hard Rock cafes. They're
Exactly. You'd be like, oh, I'm in a Scandinavian country. Where should I go? Oh, the Hard Rock Cafe.
cool. That's what I would do.
Yeah, exactly. So they have to have. There is a market for crappy restaurants for people like you.
We have a friend who's currently in Australia, and every conversation I've had with him there are just about what kind of things do they have at McDonald's, and what is the DC like there, and things of that nature. That's all we're chatting about.
Yeah, and of course, he's in Australia and he's going to McDonald's and he's having everything that he would get back here. Also, because I know this person quite well, I've been to his house. How does he eat, Tim?
Unconventionally.
So most of the time when you go over to this specific person's house, who Tim is talking about, you will just find open peanut butter jars with spoons in them, and that's all he's eaten for the entire day. Or
Yeah, but you know about that.
if you open his oven, what's in the oven?
bunch of empty pizza boxes.
That's it. Those are the two things he eats.
Love that.
No, he likes pad thai as well. Chicken fingers.
He eats like a 7-year-old.
Me too.
Yes, Paul.
He was saying that Eastside Mario's very big in major cities. Closest ones are in the suburbs of here. There was one that was in downtown Toronto. That is permanently closed.
Yeah,
so.
closed a while ago. The one on Front Street by the Dome.
Oh, I did see that.
I don't want to. Well,
Toronto is now the 9th most expensive city in the world to go out for a date night. Oslo is number 1.
you want to know something? I wouldn't know.
You don't go on date nights anymore?
I can't even.
Well, you're talking about doing the peanut butter on your pizza and eating chicken fingers. So,
Oh, I wouldn't do that. I just like pizza, not peanut butter on my pizza. I just mean I can't even remember the last time like me and my wife stepped out of the house.
oh, you guys should go to Biblos Uptown. My friend runs that place. It's excellent.
I can't wait.
Shareables, Tim. When you come up, I'll bring you there.
I can't wait to
We can
go.
order like 7 mini
anywhere.
plates. It'll be excellent.
I gotta defend Tim in saying my wife, who's can be very like hoity with like food and restaurants and likes things, highly recommended, or like when we'll go away somewhere, like we'll go to the places. Like you'll look up like places like that her like favorite like chefs like or whatever, but she loves Eastside Mario's, the genericness of it. It like I don't know.
Sun-dried tomato pasta that's so good.
It's so weird. I don't go though. She goes
And the
with a
great thing
friend
about it is that
likes
they'll put
too.
as much Parmesan cheese on until you tell them to stop.
Yeah, that's called every Italian restaurant, man.
Okay, well, I don't know about that.
And what about the balsamic and vinegar?
Yeah, how did
No,
your
don't do
how,
that.
how did your malt vinegar and canola? Oh, did you see canola oil got cursed? Apparently, it leads to dementia by a new study. So I think Tim might already be there. I don't know.
Anyways, no, you are dead wrong on this toast thing. You're wrong. There's no
Well,
coming
because
back from it.
Double digit supported me, so I feel vindicated.
I don't understand how that's how you feel vindicated. If you say you're
Because
a
I
man,
told
if
you
you're a
the
man of the
worst
people
thing
and
ever.
an overwhelming majority vote against you, how does that make you a man of the people?
I actually agree with him that getting that much vote would be like for such an insane thing would be flattering.
That's sad.
It's sad that people are putting air in his tires just to build
To
him
hear
up.
the next crazy take. That's all it is. Like, what was your favorite Starburst color?
Yellow.
Does anyone like yellow Starburst? Jeff?
Everybody.
I don't like. I like all Starbursts.
Sure, but like if they only sold it by one color, would it ever be yellow?
Do you want to know they do sell it red? They do sell in like the States like red only bags. I've never seen a yellow only bag.
Yeah, because it's terrible. Damn. Heating up your toast in the microwave. Whoa.
That is as low grade. Like you've done a lot of disgusting things, which like can question your taste buds. But this is like homeless low grade.
Well, you're wrong.
No,
People are.
no.
The people don't seem to be with you. Can't wait for what take is next. We do have a game next. It's Seattle and Arizona. Getting 5 points at home. 48 is the over. I kind of like the over in this game.
I do too.
But Seattle has to win this game, right? After losing last week and just they didn't even look all that bad last week, but a fumble return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown.
If they want to keep pace in the division where the Niners are 3-0, the Rams are 3-0, yeah, like losing this game in division would be incredibly injurious to their opportunities to either take a run at the division or even be a genuine wild card contender. So yeah, I think they've got to have. This is not one they can let wriggle off the hook, and I don't think they will. I'm going to take the Seahawks in this game.
Jeff?
I'll take Arizona. I actually think the line's a little high.
Really?
I don't love it. I think Seattle, the dream is dead that I thought was going to happen last year. It's going to happen, and it's happening hard.
I mean,
Seattle sucks. There's a lot. I know they have the miracle man at quarterback, but by a lot of important metrics, this team is fucking bad.
but they were bad last year.
I
and
know.
They still ended up making the playoffs because they have Russell Wilson, who's awesome. Is Kyler Murray as awesome as Russell Wilson?
I don't think they're 5-point road favorites almost versus anybody right now. That isn't like the Dolphins or Jets.
It's an interesting matchup only because Seattle wants to play so slowly. and run the ball over and over and over, whereas Arizona just wants to pass, and play at a high octane offense. I think it's just a weird, like, stylistic matchup, and I'll take the better quarterback. I'll take Seattle to cover. What answer are they going to have for Walt Disley, Tim?
Such a great name.
Tampa Bay at the Rams. Rams favored by 10 at home. Over under is 50 in this matchup. I can't make heads or tails of this game. I'm going to flip the coin and see what the coin has to say. The coin likes Tampa Bay on the road. Tampa, they're going to be able to shut down Gurley. They're going to be able to shut down the running game. Now you're at, and the Rams, the problem is the Rams play so much better at home. We know they can beat them through the passing game that I'm very torn on this. It feels like if they can run the ball with any sort of success, because you know they're going to try. By the way, Tim, Bruce Arians is a very bad coach.
Well, he certainly was not a very good coach on Sunday. We'll say that much. But they should not be laying 10 points, the Rams, who, while they have been able to win 3 games, they haven't looked dominant in any of them. That is somewhat concerning. Don't expect the Rams to lose this game at the Coliseum by any means, but like the Buccaneers are not so bad that they should be a 10-point dog. So I just think the line is out of whack. I don't know how you get to the line and lay 10 with the Rams right now against the Bucs, who have the capacity to score from depth and score in bulk. So Buccaneers on the very short list for SUPERLOCKS for me this week, and I'm definitely going to take them.
The biggest matchup nightmare in this game potentially is that Tampa has, at least through 3 weeks, had the 4th worst offensive line in football, and the Rams have one of the better defensive lines in football. That if you put that sort of pressure on Jameis, then maybe you don't need to do all the scoring. Maybe Jameis will just do some of the scoring for you.
That's a real possibility.
And if there gets to a situation where, I mean, the delay of game to push them back, Geoff, for a longer field goal is pretty ridiculous as is. But it's not as egregious as trying to ice the game running the ball when you can't run the ball for no specific reason and not trying to score a touchdown to win that game. Like
when your kicker has missed 3 extra points.
Like it blows my mind that.
Is it a lack of trust in the quarterback to execute those plays at that time?
It
not
must
to
be.
make a silly boneheaded
How do you
mistake?
trust that kicker?
Why is he your starting quarterback at that point?
I don't know.
So I'm going to take the Rams.
I'm with Tim. This could be a super lock. Give me Tampa. You do have to plug your nose, but I think there's so much hate for Tampa and love for the Rams. This thing hits a key number that it shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't hit 10. It's hit
No.
10. The Rams are very good, but they haven't really been tested. You got to plug your nose with Jameis because it can get bad and it can turn. But I think 10 points is plenty. And the Rams play on Thursday night. I think they could even be in Seattle.
That's a fun game.
I believe that is exactly right.
I'll just ride Tampa, keep it close. Be pretty surprised if they win, but I don't know. They could backdoor this thing too. 10's a key number. Big that it's this high. So 10.
I would even start looking at alternate spreads for this game. Because if the Rams cover the 10, they're not going to win by 11. They're going to win by like 30.
Sure.
And because it just turns into Jameis throwing pick sixes everywhere. And I think there will be enough pressure on. And because the run defense is so good with the Buccaneers, that maybe the Rams get away from just running Gurley up the gut for nothing and just turn to the passing game and march all over Tampa here. So I'm the only one. I'm on the Rams island here, -10 at home. Jacksonville at Denver. Do I have this right? -3 at home? Yeah, -3 at home.
You are right. That's pretty surprising. I like Denver, but I thought we could get a pick 'em. I'm dumb enough to think Jacksonville with the sick primetime game.
Coming
Denver
off a long week. People
just
in on
looks
Minshew
horrible.
walk.
So I'm surprised it's this high, but I'm not going to get off it. But oh my God, is Denver some kind of shit?
Yeah, that's why I can't possibly take them here. I got to take the Jags. I think this Denver team is secretly just as bad.
Flacco could die. If these Jaguars don't kill him this week, Bosa could kill him next week.
I know.
We've seen he is literally on the. I'm not making a bold statement because we've seen this happening, and we're all sort of surprised that Elway, sort of was so confident in this acquisition and what it could potentially do. But he's as bad as any quarterback I see play. Hut gets called, and there is just no life. There's no life. You're just hoping he doesn't get severely injured. That's literally how I felt watching the Packer game. It's like, just don't turn it over almost. Even take the sack and kill 40 seconds. Don't turn it over.
Here are some really surprising things from this game. So I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Denver doesn't have a freaking sack yet.
So here's the
That's
thing.
insane.
Denver last in adjusted sack rate, so generating the fewest or the least amount of pressure of any team
Jacksonville's like number
in
2
football.
or something.
Jacksonville is number 1 in adjusted sack rate. And a lot of that had to do with last Thursday night with getting to Mariota.
Sure.
But also, Denver, bottom 5 in the league in offensive line adjusted sack rate. So it's the bottom 5 team going up against a number 1 team.
It's bad.
I'll take Jacksonville, hold my nose. I can see Denver winning this game.
I see this game coming off the 3, like to a 2.5 or 2.
So I'll take Jacksonville.
And
You're
I'd
taking
say
Jacksonville?
Elway, although, he's famous for blowing one of the better deals in the history of sport by being offered ownership stake. Instead, he wanted like some $30 million cash.
Ownership stake. Can you get that at Ponderosa, Tim? Or Steakenstein?
Ponderosa doesn't exist anymore, but it was fantastic.
It was so low.
But again,
They had these strawberry bananas that were to die for.
no one has more of a free pass to fuck up in all of football than this guy. As I've said for maybe going on to 2 years on that show, the in perpetuity of that franchise and the estate of the ownership of it essentially just leaves him in control with no one to fire him because no one is in charge. It is a really ugly story to people that like following the behind the scenes stories of NFL ownerships when the guy that owned the team died, and people that like intriguing stories upon very wealthy families who hate each other.
All right.
Succession, it's the best thing I'm watching these days.
I like Succession. I don't know if it's great, though.
I gotta say, I just tuned into
It's
like
sort of
a
like
season 2.
It's sort of like Entourage for like banking people.
Sure, or people that are,
Into
fair.
poop play?
No, or people that are like very wealthy and their family doesn't like each other.
Yeah, like I find
That was what Dallas was all about.
it's made on a higher level production-wise, and it's far more serious than Billions, but I like Billions more. Billions is far more fun.
And I gotta say something about Succession is I got kind of caught myself watching a recent episode before seeing anything. It was like, oh, like this show's really good. I'm gonna go back.
It's a tough three episode watch to start off with.
Sure, but I'm into that. That to me, I'm like, I give shows the benefit of the doubt that they're just building the characters. And if it hits off, those 3 episodes are worth, like The Wire. I'm not comparing it to The Wire, but you got to sit through a lot. You got to sit through a lot before you can really start to enjoy the dots. But I saw like 25 minutes of it and knew I had to go back and watch. But in the 25 minutes, I was blown away by a character. And then I see the character is like critically acclaimed for how awesome it is. He is. And it makes sense. That cousin Greg.
I like Cousin Greg.
I am so.
Tim could be a Cousin Greg.
Yeah,
Is he an alien?
He is not Greg He is not Greg is not an alien, no. But he could be an alien.
like
I
the
suppose.
first scene I saw is cousin Greg. Like he was acted beautifully. Like goes to the younger, cooler, richer cousin, trying to do some of the cocaine with him in the washroom. It was really funny.
Tim is all in. I kept seeing the commercial. Now I can't even remember. Tim's still in on The Good Doctor, but
I've never watched an episode.
I want to say jury rests, case closed, some new show.
Oh, where the lady is the judge?
Yeah,
That looks so good.
that's what I thought.
All right, there's some real.
All
shit.
Rise, that's what it's
There's
called.
some
All right.
real
Yeah, I'm
shit.
definitely going to give that a chance.
No, I spoke about this last week. The network lineup is as bad as it's ever been.
Well, I don't like to judge books by their cover. I'm going to give them an opportunity.
Have you? Let me guess. You're getting ready to watch Bob Hart's Abishola?
What is that? What is that?
I only know of these things because I watch football.
You watch it with the sound on. That's your problem. I can just turn my head during.
Tim, are you gonna watch that?
I don't know. We'll see. It depends if it conflicts with other stuff.
Oh God.
What's the one that I saw? I did see a commercial for one. He's like a Kevin James-esque character.
Yeah, Bob loves Abishola.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what
that's the one.
that's what
He's
that's
like
called.
the Kevin James character. I don't know what brings him into
might
the
be funny.
hospital, but
That is I can assure you that's not funny.
I get from like the preview, it seems like this Kevin James guy wakes up in the hospital and he falls in love with his African nurse, and they live
I think
happily
it's a
ever
fun
after.
show. We'll see.
And I guess it's sort of like going to play off it's 2019, like Kevin James guy can marry an African girl. Like, I don't like it just like, I don't know, man. There's not a chance that thing's on in season 3. I promise
Are you saying it's woke for people that aren't woke?
Sure.
It just allows the Tims of the world to feel woke by watching it?
I don't know. Is Jerry Stiller going to be like the father-in-law?
Well, he has to be. Is he still alive?
The show.
I think Jerry is still with us. Yes.
I mean, Ray Romano could be the dad at this point. He's pretty old.
I hope people weren't talking about King of Queens when it debuted the way I feel about Bob Hart's.
I'm sure they were.
Because that show's a legend.
That show is awful.
No, it is.
That's almost like saying Friends is super funny.
No,
I hate Friends, but do not besmirch.
Friends, like I don't like Friends. Friends is objectively better than King of Queens.
Sure,
No,
but
Friends
different.
Oh my god,
Tim, were you a Yes Dear fan?
Yes, I was.
I love that show too.
have you guys not been like? Have you guys not binged Fleabag yet?
No.
My wife and I spent a good 2 nights and just watched both seasons.
And I'm not going to lie. I kind of just found out that show existed.
Because it won all the Emmys?
And it's the lady who did Killing Eve, who I absolutely adore.
How have you guys never heard of Fleabag?
This is why I watch award shows, to get in tune with the popular culture.
Normally I'm aware, but I'm not going to lie. The last year and a bit, shows have been harder for me.
Well, Newborn, Young Child.
There's just a lot of things.
But... yeah,
that's one that's now
Fleabag's actually hilarious, and it's a very quick watch.
But I also want to say I feel like television comedy is hard. It's hard for me to like comedies on TV. I feel like
really,
yeah.
I don't know. If you haven't gone back and done it, if you haven't watched Happy Endings, just go back and binge Happy Endings as well. How that show never made it past 3 seasons is stunning to me.
The Ben Stiller show.
Oh, Ben Stiller show, Emmy winner, Tim. Part of the popular culture.
It's a trash show.
I mean, television just needs more shows about police, lawyer, doctors that don't play by the rules.
Well, what if they're not based in Chicago? Can you have them then?
Like Jim Rockford.
For once, I want a cop who doesn't play by the rules.
Well, that was Jim Rockford's whole thing on the Rockford Files. They should reboot that.
I'm making a joke. Every single freaking show is about those exact 3 premises. A lawyer, a doctor, a cop who doesn't play by the rules.
Tim plays by the rules.
Too much.
Yeah. All rise. That's why he's in. Minnesota at Chicago.
I don't know what to do with that one.
Yeah, 2.5.
I can make this simple. Kirk Cousins against that defense. TKO. Give me the Bears.
I'm with them. I like the Bears too, -2.5.
Making a round.
Well, we'll see what the coin says. The coin also likes Chicago. Yeah, I mean, they're not getting the full...
I don't love it. Mike Zimmer with...
Why aren't they getting the full 3 at home?
Mike Zimmer with an extra day even to prepare than the coach he's playing, to me, is worth something. So that does scare me. But I don't know. Give me Chicago.
Anthony Barr should be back for this game.
If Dalvin Cook's not going to pick up 6 yards a carry, I'm curious to see how effective the Vikings are.
They're going to look like they did in week 2 when they were awful.
Yeah.
If Kirk Cousins has to throw more than 25 times, they lose. Is how this is turning out.
Dalvin Cook better have 200 yards rushing or they're done.
Now he can, because he's been excellent.
Oh, he's amazing.
He's their only hope. He's their Luke Skywalker in this game.
Dallas at New Orleans, Sunday nighter.
Game of the week.
This is not the game of the week with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback.
The Saints are going to win, and the Saints are going to win comfortably.
They're not. Dallas is going to smoke New Orleans in New Orleans.
Nope.
New Orleans is bad. They were bad last week, yet somehow they beat Seattle off.
Do you know the theory that I come with? The good teams with the bad quarterbacks, and he's 3-0 this year, first game. I'd say the Colts.
Well, the Steelers are not.
You're right. The Steelers.
Now you're putting retroactive good and bad on.
Okay, hold on. I even acknowledged last week we had now determined we weren't really sure if the Steelers were good or bad, but they had good culture, which had to count a little.
Well, I mean, it counts against the Browns. They have bad culture, so they're bad. Good culture in Pittsburgh, they're still bad.
Yes, I agree, but
maybe they should sign Antonio Brown.
Not that this game has anything to do with that, but I don't know. I agree with Tim. Dallas big for their bridges. Dallas a couple huge games. Hold on.
Dallas goes into New Orleans and beats New Orleans when Drew Brees is their quarterback.
Yeah, maybe.
No, they don't.
They have.
That happened like once in the last several years. Listen, I'll make it short.
Well, they only
Dallas,
are scheduled to go into New Orleans once every 4 years.
Dallas was hook and
Unless
crook
there's
with the
crossover.
Dolphins. We're hook and crook with the Dolphins for like 2.5 quarters at home.
Yeah, but they were just like toying.
Now they're going into the Superdome.
Did you see that the
Everybody loves
NFL
Dallas.
Films clip? Dak is like in the huddle talking about the spicy nuggets are back because he sees it on the Jumbotron.
Bad culture. Dak sucks.
No, I'm
He's too
not
big
going
for
there.
his britches. He doesn't try.
Listen,
You can trust the Cowboys on the road on Sunday Night Football all you want. Me, I'm taking the Saints at home in the Dome.
I agree with Tim. I don't
Unless
have
they-
his confidence, but I'm picking
unless
the
they
game.
score special teams touchdowns or defensive touchdowns, how are they scoring points?
I don't know.
Alvin Kamara is the best player on the field.
I think that Zeke and Kamara are a wash. To tell you the
I
truth.
don't have
And
Tim's
Dak is significantly better than Teddy Bridgewater, who doesn't throw the ball.
I like Teddy a lot.
He doesn't throw the ball more than 3 yards down the field.
Dak's
Michael
amazing.
Thomas is a great player. I love this team. I like the Saints team quite a bit. They've been looking.
What happened to them? So they lose Drew Brees, and now you're on their bandwagon?
No. I think that they can bridge themselves to Breeze coming back. This
Yeah,
is a
but you
game where-
said that they were going to be the underachievers of the year with Drew Brees and miss the playoffs. Now that all of a sudden they're great?
I guess I have to change my view. I think the Saints have played better than I thought they were going to. I thought the way they rallied in week 1 was impressive. I thought the way that they went into Seattle, not an easy place to win, and took care of business was impressive. And then they hung with they probably would have beaten the Rams had the referees not blown that call, and then they lost Breeze halfway through. I don't know. I've seen nothing from the Saints that makes me unimpressed, and Dallas hasn't played anybody yet, as we talked about a while ago. So until then,
I
me
really
four.
think
No.
that we're getting a discount with Dallas because they haven't played anyone yet. No one wants to believe that they're actually good. And Tim just power ranked them second in the NFL if he was doing his power rankings. And now all of a sudden they can't beat New Orleans with a backup quarterback.
I think you are. I'm not as confident as Tim on this game, but I think you're dead wrong in people not wanting to believe Dallas is good. Are you on Twitter?
yeah, people love Dallas.
You realize Twitter's not everything, right?
I understand that, but Dallas beats the tar out of the Giants week 1, and they're the Super Bowl champions. It's just how it works. So
I think you're seeing what you want to see with that.
no. The love affair
No, that's
for
right.
you to say there's no complete love affair with this
I'm
version
not
of the
saying that
Cowboys.
there's not.
And
but
I agree
feel
with you.
that
I think-
this line is being affected by people thinking like, yeah, Dallas looks great. Dallas looks great. They haven't beat anyone of any sort of substance. Well, newsflash, New Orleans offense sucks.
I agree. I think Dallas is long term going to be a fantastic team
If
this
that's
year.
the case, then they smoke this Saints team.
I like the Saints in that
Nobody
Sunday.
smokes the Saints.
I-
They don't.
Please tell me how the Saints win this game. Lay out the blueprint, and maybe I'll change my pick here. Just tell me how this game goes that they actually win it. Tim, do you want to chime in? Please, give me the game script of how this game goes that they win and cover this line.
Kamara plays well. Bridgewater takes advantage of the offensive weapons that he has and puts it on the money. And that defense compels 1 or 2 turnovers out of Dak, which are coming, I think. I don't know. I think that's a very difficult joint to walk into when it's rocking. And I don't know that the Cowboys have earned our respect quite enough yet. We'll see.
I'm on Dallas Island here in the Sunday Nighter.
Is it your super lock?
I don't know if it's going to be. I actually don't even really have a super lock.
Cowboys
as of
play
yet.
the Packers next week, so these are big games.
These are the games.
These are the games.
I think that they're going to have far more difficulty with the Packers than the Saints.
That game's got to be primetime too, probably. I guess
No,
there's Fox
I think
4.
I think it's America's game of the
I
week.
forgot that. America's game of the week.
Well, what game is Romo currently slated to do?
None, probably.
No,
Bills, Patriots, probably.
Well, he's golfing,
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If he makes the cut, he's not doing the game.
but he might be getting the weekend off.
No, he's doing. They already said he's scheduled to do the game if he misses the cut at the Safeway. If he makes the cut, Boomer Issei is coming in for him.
I imagine they'll be assigned to Bills, Patriots.
Yeah, that actually is the best game of the week.
For the AFC side, yeah.
No,
I think
for all of the games on this slate, New
But
England
they
at
also
Buffalo
would
is the best game.
they would also be the network showing Chiefs Lions, so they may send them out to Detroit too. Well, you got Mahomes, right? So
You know what?
What?
With the rule change a few years ago, Tim, with how they divvied up the networks, it's actually a Fox game.
Is it real? Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at it right now.
Saints Seahawks was a CBS game last week.
I'm just telling you, I'm looking at the
I know.
network breakdown.
No, I know.
So
Like,
Romo will be in Buffalo, or he could be in Baltimore for the Browns-Baltimore game.
I doubt it.
At the 4 o'clock, CBS has Minnesota, Chicago. That's probably where he'll be.
Oh, yeah.
That's
How
where
do they have Minnesota, Chicago?
They changed the rules. The rules
It's
were
so
changed a
strange
few
for
years
all
ago.
the-
There is now, the old rules used to be like CBS AFC, Fox NFC, and the road team in the crossovers would be the accompanying
Correct.
network. Now those rules were completely just blown out the door. I think they just want to be able to get equal money from both sides and not say this like a East versus West. This division or conference is better.
Works out for CBS, that's for sure.
Pardon?
Works out for CBS because any NFC game you can get and get rid of an AFC game is probably for the best.
Yeah, but I think you underestimate like the power of the Patriots, the Steel, like those the real preeminent teams, not the one out of New Jersey, carry a lot of freaking weight.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, New England, and Dallas, and Green Bay are still your big four.
Oh no, Chicago when they're good is just as big.
They're not. They're not just as big as like Dallas and Pittsburgh. They're not. Dallas and Pittsburgh are the two.
Philadelphia is as big as any of them.
They're not.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. They're not.
Washington is just
the Steelers and Cowboys from a national level are the two biggest teams by far.
I don't think it's by far because the Patriots are right there with.
Yeah, but the Patriots don't have Tom Brady, then they're not. Like when he retires, the Patriots cease to be that team. It doesn't matter who the Steelers have or who the Cowboys have; they are still that
15
team.
15 years ago, the Patriots weren't on that list. They have put, sort of like in the 70s, 80s, early and 90s. I'm not kidding. People can laugh at me. The Dolphins were a preeminent team.
And the 49ers.
Going 17-0 or whatever. Like that put them in a preeminent class that lasted them decades. And then getting Marino. Teams swap in and out of that. But you're absolutely right. The Steelers, the Cowboys, the Packers never swap out of it. Ever. There's no swapping out. Other spots are up for grabs.
Yeah, if those teams are good, like when the Eagles are good, the Eagles are huge. When the Bears are good, the Bears are huge. When they're not good, the Cubs are huge then. If the Cubs are good that year in Chicago.
When the Raiders are good, the Raiders are huge.
I think you just hear about them because their fans are crazy people. You'll just hear about a lot more stabbings if they're good. And maybe that won't be an issue anymore. Who knows? There is a Monday night game, by the way.
I can't wait to go to Vegas to see the Chargers game and not fear for although Vegas can be scary.
Nah, Vegas is fine.
No.
There's cameras everywhere.
I mentioned the Westgate earlier. I tell you, the sport, you do not, Raider fans in the sport, like they bring a vibe. We'll just leave it at that.
All right.
Raider fans bring a vibe, a dark vibe.
Angry people.
It is a just considerably darker vibe and attitude that gets brought. Mm-hmm. My wife has been to a Chargers-Packers game in San Diego. We were there for 2 weeks. We saw 2 games. Sunday afternoon is a beautiful, family-friendly environment. The very next weekend, the exact same weather, nothing changed except it was Chargers versus Raiders, and you could sense like a darkness in the air, like a vibe, like you just felt it.
Just the boiling anger from these fans?
I don't know. It's just different. And anyone that's been to a game or a game with the Raiders knows what I'm talking about.
There is a Monday night game. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
What some horrible fucking...
Yeah, that is not a good game. Pittsburgh's favored by 4?
I don't know.
Should they be?
They shouldn't, but if that O-line is not playing for the Bengals, to me they remain unbettable, although they covered for us last week.
They sure did.
Oh, I hate this. I don't know. Bengals. I got...
Are you taking Cincinnati?
It's ugly.
I'll take the Steelers with no particular feel.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Steelers too. What's the coin doing here? Coin is taking the Bengals. I should just tail Geoff on these primetime games. He wins games on every day of the week.
Except
that was only the first week when I won 3 games, and they happened to be 1-1-1. Okay.
And you had 2 shots at Monday night. Mason Rudolph, do we know anything about him yet? He looked better in the second half.
Yeah, we don't know anything. It's too early to say.
I still can't tell if the 49ers are going to end up being really good. I think their defense is far more legit than their offense. I worry about their offense.
They just make a lot of dumb mistakes that they need to clean up. This bye actually came at a good time for them to sort of straighten themselves out while they're not in trouble.
Are you glad the league screwed the Jets by giving them a week 4 bye now so Sam can come back in week 5?
Doesn't matter what they do anymore.
I don't think he's coming back week 5.
They say
I hope
he's
he
on
doesn't.
track. He hit a
I hope he
treadmill today, probably for the first time in his life. But hey,
Sure.
now he's going to get in cardiovascular shape too.
Sure, we can wear those ugly black uniforms and embarrass ourselves next week against the Eagles.
I mean, the biggest embarrassment about the Jets isn't their uniforms, Tim. It's either Meter Maid Fred or you. Those are the two biggest outliers here.
Whatever. I don't even have the energy to fight back
He
anymore.
does. You can hear it simmering
No, he
behind him.
doesn't.
He does. He wants to fight back. He wants to be in on Colombo at quarterback or Simeon at quarterback, but he knows he will be mocked if he does. He is not expressing his true feelings here. You can hear it in his voice.
But I'll know this. Come April, this guy is going to...
April, just wait until Darnold wins like 4 games in a row to end the year after losing the rest of the slate, and then he'll make the same argument as he did. Who was the best quarterback in football over the final 4 weeks?
And he'll feel justified in his 12-4 proclamation because he'll say how they played in December was what the team they were all year.
Yeah, it's the same story every single season with Tim.
No, I'm a changed man. I've learned my way. I've learned my lesson.
Okay, let's see here. Survivor for the week.
Chargers.
I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. Although, if Miami just randomly beats a good team, the Chargers are the most likely candidate.
Yeah, of course.
I don't have the Chargers to use.
So you're using the Rams?
No, I will be using
Baltimore.
Indianapolis.
You're not going to use, but you said Baltimore's going to curb stomp Cleveland.
Yeah, I'm going to take Indianapolis.
Oh, so you're not super confident about that game,
I'm
are
just
you?
more confident in Indy than I am in Baltimore. That's all. I can use Baltimore later on.
All right, so to recap your 6.5 point teaser here, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 gamer?
5 gamer.
Oh, well, I missed whatever the last one. I have Baltimore minus a half point, Kansas City plus a half point, the Chargers minus 9.5, Indy to a pick'em. What's the 5th leg?
Jaguars.
Oh, Jags plus 9.
Yeah, we're going to tease the Jags up.
I thought you didn't tease teams up.
I teased one team up just because that's how much I despise the Broncos and I don't trust them.
All right, super locks of the week. You felt very passionately about like 3 or 4 of these games, Geoff. Which one are you going to decide with?
Did I 3 or 4? Yeah. I'm going to go with Tennessee, but it would have been between Tennessee or Tampa or the Redskins. But Tennessee. Extended week, they are going to pound the finesse Falcons money line.
What?
That my super lock isn't money line, but I'm gonna call that they'll win that game.
Oh, Tennessee just money. But the Tennessee plus 4 is your super lock. Tim?
Let's go down to the Bayou and take the Saints plus 2.5.
Let's play the other side of that. Let's super lock in the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, Geoff. Minus 2.5.
And I will say, Tim, again, I'll die on the hill. Nobody has besmirched a super lock like you besmirched mine last week, ever.
Okay, well, we'll see by the end of the year whether that's true. I think it already happened in week 2, but anyway.
It didn't. Again, this is Tim just remembering. It's more of him living his truth over the reality of what's going on. So I look forward to his political commentary show about conspiracies.
I don't believe in conspiracies. You know this.
Yeah, but you think everyone's out to get you.
No, just a couple of you are.
No, you said everyone's out to get me. That's a direct quote from you from earlier in the show.
No, everyone is not out to get me.
So you have
Most
to say
people are.
you have to say that to make it seem like you're sane, don't you?
No, I speak my truth.
Oh, you live your truth, do you?
Yes, but my truth and that truth are one and the same.
People would disagree with that.
I don't think so.
I think so. This is why would you say 1 in 9 people agree with you?
At least on some things. On other things.
I would say max 1 in 9 people agree with you. And I'm still pretty convinced half of those people are just internet trolls.
Of course. When I'm winning something, it's because they're all just trying to play some game on me. But when you're winning, they sincerely are on your side. Heads you win, tails I lose. I understand.
I don't actually ever recall saying that about myself. Do you?
That's the implication.
Is it though? Because I don't say ludicrous things and then have to ask people to vote on whether I'm insane or not. That's something that you do.
I didn't ask anyone to vote. You did.
Yes. So, Geoff, sorry. What do you think is more correct here?
I see what he is saying, but I agree vehemently with you.
Thank you.
Because
I'm correct.
I could see, yes, he has to paint a lens as to why what's happening is happening. But I completely agree with Pat.
As the people do. 9 and 1 people agree with me instead of 1 and 9.
Like, he thinks that, like, you can't say people are just voting for him to change results. He feels the exact same way that people are just voting for you because you have this platform and they're just building up the shenanigans of Tim being wrong.
I'm a sensible.
But I agree with you that they're.
I'm a sensible person, so most people just agree with me.
And you make these polls, like, you draw a line, like, there when he makes his, like, very egregious proclamations is when you feel you've got to, like, pull this thing.
Yeah, it's not
like,
just random
like
things.
the sock shoe, or the milk before the cereal. It's those type of things that, like, get the poll.
Saying that Yes Dear was the single greatest TV show of all time. That's just a weird take, Tim.
When did he say that?
I didn't say that. I just thought it was a good show.
But we like
That's also a bad take.
we liked Yes Dear.
I did.
TBS coming home from school.
Yes, exactly. See, Geoff knows.
Come on.
How old were you at this
Come on.
time?
I'm talking university.
Oh, good God, man.
Yeah.
That's horrendous.
No, come on.
I feel
come
like
on.
I've wasted my life. That's a new
Like a
low.
Yes Dear King of Queens, like 4:30,
power hour.
4:30. That is a pop. Tim knows what's up.
See, 2 out of 3 people on this show agree with me.
Yeah, but you're one of
But
them.
Geoff's just agreeing with me to make it to pump air in my tires. You see, he doesn't actually agree with me.
Oh,
That's
no. It's been well established. Jeff has terrible taste in television. He watches both the high and the low ends.
It's true. Hey, again, as I said, I was I'm very diversified from Ken Burns' country documentary to Extreme
Which
Cougar
is
Wives.
the best thing on television by a mile right now. That is fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. It is the best thing on television right now.
How can you call something the best thing on television when you didn't just know the best show on television didn't exist until last night?
No, I mean this documentary is fantastic. Like, it is A+ work. Go watch it. Ken Burns, country music. It's amazing.
See, instead of watching these like low network shows, I just delve into the Real Housewives and Vanderpump world. That's my like trash TV that I enjoy, but only some of them. I tried to watch Potomac. Did your wife watch any of these?
Oh no, she loves this 90 Day Fiancé. You talking about that stuff?
Yeah, like the home and gardening
And
shows.
the new one, this freaking Below Deck.
Oh, I love Below Deck. Below Deck Med is even
There's
better.
like, because my wife's home, with the new baby in the late hours, like Below Deck, everything Below Deck gets recorded. I want to record something. There's like 38 unseen Below Decks taking up all my space.
I had to have a talk with my wife about clearing off the DVR.
Yeah, I had to do that too.
Like, we don't need to save every episode of everything you've ever watched. You're never gonna watch. You never watch this stuff on record. We don't need to be.
I'm on her side. Let her keep it.
But then I can't find the things
No.
that I actually save that I want to go back and watch.
You can't like save your daily daytime talk shows that I've now been kicked off the air for like a year and a half.
I got no problem with it. I think it's okay to keep.
Like I still got like episodes of The Chew recorded.
What the hell was The Chew?
It was like
this
a
daytime talk show. See, I know.
I know about it because my wife, but a single guy shouldn't really like.
Yeah, and I see
It
where
was
Tim's
all
coming
talk
from
about.
about keeping all the stuff. All the stuff on his DVR is his stuff. He doesn't have to share it with someone else.
The Chew was like a daytime talk show, but it was about like
Does it have
cooking and
Whoopi on
like
it?
lifestyle. No, see, that was like The View, and that's like hot button topics. This is just like.
Tim could be on The View. He could debate with Whoopi.
Oh, but the Chew got canceled because it had one of the guy who was on it got canceled.
Oh, Matt Lauer?
No, Mario Battelli.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, that's right. That
Was
is
he
what
a-
happened.
Wasn't he a race car driver?
No,
No,
you're
that's
talking about
Mario
Andretti. No, he's like a famous chef with a lot of restaurants and like was a TV chef, but
Oh,
he got a little touchy-feely, handsy with the
he's got to go.
Off
the
what do you
air.
call it? The
PA.
no, not even the show. Like his waitress, like at the restaurants he
Oh.
owned, a real scumbag, like a real scumbag.
South Park's back tonight or tomorrow night. New
That's
season.
awesome.
New season. So maybe we'll talk about that next week because honestly, this slate of games is almost as trash as last week.
Uninspiring.
Yeah, there's a couple good ones on there, but that's about it. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in to the Pat Mayo Experience. Remember to time code this show for stuff that you like. Stuff I would say that stuff that you don't like, but don't do that. We don't need negativity festering in the comment section. We save all of that vitriol for Tim and CUST.
Tim and CUST.
That is not my name.
We do save it for you, though.
Oh, I'm aware. I can take, as Hamlet would say, the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
Geoff Fienberg, thank you for being in studio.
You don't want to see me if we get into a full Al Roker transition.
Agreed. I
What-
don't.
Want to thank the coin. Want to thank Paul behind the camera. I do want to see that because I think you and I are betting the same golfers this week. So if the Chargers lose, then my golf bet is definitely going to win. So I would like that.
They can't lose. They're not losing this one. Oh, they might.
They might. Subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. Check out my Facebook page for the cheat sheet. We'll have more coming at you later on Wednesday. DraftKings picks with, guess who's on the show? Geoff? Guess who my DraftKings guest is this week?
I don't know.
Who is the Tim Andercust of the DraftKings space?
You're teeing me up, but I don't know.
Siege.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
People always love when the Siege is on his. He will have ridiculous hot takes and maybe win some money. So tune into the Siege. I'll be guest hosting the MMA show this week in lieu of Paul Shag. So me and Cody will be talking about fights of fighters I've never heard of for UFC Copenhagen. Then I'll be back on Friday with Chris Meany to break down all the injuries and update the rankings. Then live 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the DraftKings YouTube channel, available after the fact on all the audio feeds. Me, CUST, and Garion breaking down all the games and the breaking news and answering your questions. Like I said, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday morning. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck in week 4. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!